Yes, people, we are finally here. But before we say anything, Euro 2020 is finally here. Is football coming home? Time will only tell. Welcome to Albert JTV. If you thought one intro was good enough, there's going to be a second one. But before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, Euro 2020 is here. Finally. Euro 2020 preview show. But before we get into anything, let's hit the intro. Yes, people, welcome to Albert Talks podcast. Hashtag Euro 2020 preview. I've been looking forward to this. Guys, as you can see, I have a special co-host with me for the entire tournament. We'll be doing match previews, reviews, phone-ins possibly, depending on our timing and availability. But Souls, I want to introduce you. Thank you for being my co-host for this Euro 2020, bro.
Oh, this was in the pipelines for many weeks, even months maybe. So, it's finally here. All I'm saying is this is deluded souls. This isn't going to be, Arsenal souls. It's coming home until it's physically impossible to come home. So whilst we're in it, we're winning it. I don't care.
Nah, Souls, yeah, much respect to you, man. Thank you for coming on. People in the chat, thank you for coming on in the live stream. Thank you. Also, smash the like button if you haven't already and hit the notification bell for when the Euro 2020 content does come out. So, people, I'm not going to waste any time. Follow my co-host Goodness Souls on his channel and Twitter. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get the first guest on. And I'm going to bring him in. Big introduction. Mad Mac, Gav Mac. Let's bring him to the street, bro.
Mad Mac in the house. I see Holly put up a little comment saying 2 legends. I see there's 3 on the screen right now. Big up yourself, Gunner Souls. Big up yourself, Albert, as well. Appreciate you having me on.
Nah, Gav, thank you for coming on last minute, because inevitably with sort of live streams, people kind of, they can't make it or for whatever reason. So I appreciate you coming on the channel at a very last minute notice. But yeah, let me sort of not wasting time, mate, because we haven't got you for long. No Arsenal talk. I haven't done it really for a couple of months, if I'm being honest with you. But we obviously have Arsenal representation in Bukayo Saka, which I personally think is fantastic. I get it from the point of view Arsenal fans have been a little bit selfish, saying, "Oh, we don't want him to go. Let him have a holiday, less games." I'm like, no, he deserves to go. But Gavs, I also want to ask you generally what you made of the England squad, and were there any surprises, or were there certain people that you felt should have been there but were not there?
I think after, once again, thank you very much for having me on the show.
Yeah, of course.
The main omission for me is James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
But then it's a case of who do you replace him with? And if you were to put him in the squad, does he start? So you can't really moan too much about it. The fact that Trent got injured, it's a shame he got injured, because I do think he's one of the best, if not at least, at worst case, second best right back that we have for England anyway. So to replace him with another defender who is versatile, I think is a great idea, because Ben White could play anywhere along the back three. If you play a back three, he could play in a right back position. He's turned out at left back once or twice, I believe, in his Leeds days, and he can also play as a defensive central midfielder. Look, I know it was only a friendly, but you see when he played the other day, and the way he was just like drifting the ball out of the defense and then looking for a pass. We haven't really got that many forward-thinking centre halves that could also do the defensive work as well. So I'm really happy that Ben White is part of the squad. I don't like the idea that Henderson is there, because he hasn't played enough minutes for me. Maguire is a little bit different because he got injured towards the end of the season, and it's not a serious injury that's going to keep him out for months. But Henderson, I think, is one of England's most important players. But if you're not fully fit, then what is the point?
I hear you. I'm going to bring Souls in because he might want to ask you a bit more to elaborate, whether it be on the squad or a question he might genuinely want to ask you about the England squad, or maybe even just the tournament as a whole.
Yeah, no, I think, Mac's point was brilliant, and I think Roy Keane summed it up perfectly. Why are you going to take a babysitter with you? If they can't play. But I guess what my question could be to you is, overall, looking at the tournament yourself, who do you think is going to be the shock player in terms of the one that you think will do really well, but actually has a stinker of a tournament?
For England?
Or anyone, England and either other.
For England, I reckon he's had a bit of a shocking second half of the season anyway. That's Raheem Sterling. And I've got a feeling that he's going to start. And it's a bit disappointing because if you turn around to anybody in the world, England fan or not, and said after the Nations League that it would not be Kane, Rashford, Sterling starting up front, people would laugh at you. They're all telling me, okay, you think that you're taking some form of drugs, and you're not. But Rashford, he will have a brilliant game and then a stinker. He's not consistent, and his stats tell one story, but the eye tests tell another. So, and then Sterling, his first half of his season was a little bit like last season, just the way he was unplayable. He was completely unplayable. But the second half of the season, he's been poor. I think he needed a bit of time out from the game almost. We're going to drop you for a couple of games, get your head together, and then come back in. I think that would have worked for him. But then, like when you try and do something when things aren't going your way, and then you're trying too hard to try and make something happen. That's what's happened to Sterling. And then in terms of anybody else, I do see one of the big guns, name-wise, having a poor tournament. And when I say poor tournament, I mean more we expect a certain level. So I think that person's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is world class. Where everyone's expecting him to be top goal scorer or whatever, I think he's going to chip in, but I don't think it's going to live up to the level that everyone expects. So therefore, people, you know what Twitter's like. Twitter's evil. Yeah. If you're either brilliant or you're terrible. You can never be really good or okay. It's impossible. So Ronaldo will have an okay season. But
sorry, Gavs. Yeah, now just to pick up on what you're saying, Gavs, about Ronaldo, it's interesting because I would probably say, I don't know if Goodness always agrees with me and people in the chat as well. I wouldn't say he's been written off in terms of not having a great time since he's gone to Juventus, but I think this will kind of fire him up a little bit more because people are kind of thinking, maybe this is the time now. He's 30. Is he 34? Is he 36?
36,
yeah, 36. So people kind of saying, maybe this is the time that he's going to be on the back burner sort of thing. But I think that might fire him up a little bit more. And, that Portugal squad, I mean, me and Souls went through some of the names before we came on the live stream. I was like, you know what? I know they're in a difficult group, in the group of death as such, but they've got seriously good players in that squad, Gavs. What do you say to that?
The squad is impeccable.
Yeah, it is.
It's impeccable. They've got power in every single position. Yeah. Because on MAD Sports Network, we're doing, instead of doing like big shows and stuff, we're just doing morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're putting out a little review, 15-minute shows. So make sure that you like and watch our stuff just for a little quite quick snippet. 100%. And then if anybody else who's watching this right now, make sure you tune into this channel right here for your full roundups and all your full match previews and reviews as well. Make sure you do that. So you want a snippet? Come to MAD Sports. If you want the big thing, you want the main thing, come to this channel. That's what we're doing. But we did a daily preview. We looked into each group day by day, and we were looking out for who was doing what. I saw a couple of comments from you as well, so that's big love there. Real talk.
Yeah, cool.
But that Portugal side, I don't know what they're going to do because if they, I hate Andre Silva, and that's my own personal vendetta. but he's a great striker. I just personally I don't like him. You know, he probably doesn't like me either. But that's what it is. But he has scored 26 goals in the league this season. He scored more goals in the league than Haaland.
Yeah,
and I just think he's a bit stat paddy because the way he scores goals, you know, they just bounce off him sometimes. You know, his movement has been good for a couple of the headers that he scored. And, you know, I'm a massive advocate of the Bundesliga anyway. So I watch him week in, week out. But he's not going to start. I don't think he's going to start. I think they're going to start with Ronaldo through the middle. But then what are you going to play in the middle? Renato Sanchez deserves a start. But then where do you put Ruben Neves? Where do you put Bruno Fernandes? Where do you put Bernardo Silva? You know, where do you put his name just eluded me. I did this on the other day as well.
William
Carvalho, defensive midfielder. So like where'd you put him?
Yeah.
What do you do with Joao Cancelo? Do you play three at the back? Do you play five? They've got a wealth of talent all over the place. It's brilliant.
And Pepe's still playing, isn't he?
And he's playing well.
Wow.
He's not just playing, he's playing well. He's 37 years old. He looks like he's 25.
Very, very street smart defender. When I talk about street smart people, the tricks of the trade. That's what I will say.
S-housery. I don't know what the lyrics are like on it.
Yeah, 100%. But Gavs and Stoles, I sort of want to bring you both in really for this question. England, sort of touch on the squad. We'll go for it. Obviously, we ignore Trent, but what one player in the England squad, Gavs, to come to you first? Are you who's the kind of person you're looking out for? For me personally, it might surprise some people. It'd be interesting to see how Jude Bellingham will get on. I actually think he might get more minutes than you'll sort of bargain for. But yeah, what do you make? What's the one player you're looking out for, Gav, in England squad come this tournament, mate?
But I'm with you a little bit on the Bellingham thing because once again, Bundesliga guru over here, myself and Devo on MAD Sports Network, love a bit of Jude Bellingham. But I'm interested to see how the formation is going to be and how they deploy Mason Mount. Because I want to see whether they are thinking, right, we're going to play a 4-2-3-1. Is he going to play in the hole? Or is he going to play alongside a Declan Rice or a Calvin Phillips? Be very intrigued to see what he does there. I would like to see Declan Rice in the holding role by himself a lot, and then have a Jude Bellingham sort of in front of him, and then a Mason Mount. Because I honestly believe you'll be able to see Mason Mount ghosting on the edge of the box, a la Lampard-esque. I'm not saying this is as good as Frank Lampard because he is not. Period, he is not. But in terms of the style of play that he has, he is most likened to Lampard than anybody else in England's history. So I'll be very excited to see him play a lot of minutes, and I want to see what he does on the edge of the box, whether he's going to bang one from 20 yards or whether he's going to feed in a Foden or a Grealish and just dictate play in the final third. I'm excited to see what Mason Mount could do.
No, good stuff. Just before I let you go, guys, I just wanted to ask you, what's your thoughts? I want to get a score prediction for tonight's game and obviously England's game. It's a big game tonight, actually. Looking forward to it. People have spoken up of Turkey quite well, to be fair. What's your score prediction for Turkey, Italy tonight? And what do you think the result England will get on Sunday against Croatia?
I wrote off Italy quite badly.
Yeah,
because I've just been casually watching Italy. And since I did my prediction show on Italy, I have done a lot more research and I'm embarrassed by my comments that I made. Italy are dangerous. Super dangerous. I think they're gonna, because I didn't think they were scoring enough goals. But it doesn't matter how many goals they're scoring because they've only conceded 7 in their last 27 games. It's mad. So I'm going with a 2-0 Italy win. And then England versus Croatia, I'm going with a 1-1 draw. And it'll be from a set piece.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh. So before I let Gav go, what's your prediction for tonight? I won't get the England one from you just yet, but what's the score? What do you think prediction-wise for Turkey, Italy tonight?
I think I'm going to go with my dark horses, and I said Turkey. So I think it was between Turkey and Italy anyway, so I'm going to go with them, and I think 2-1 Turkey.
Okay, wow. Okay. Gaz, before you go, bruv, firstly, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Also, give the shout out of your channel and what's coming up on your next content on your channel, mate.
Yeah, no problem at all. Well, MAD Sports Network, they cover a whole range of different sports. So it's not just football as well. So whether you like your darts, wrestling, MMA, boxing, what other sports we cover? We cover loads of sports. Make sure you tune into us. We do cover football as well, but we don't cover Premier League. So if you want to get an insight on what's happening in the Championship and what's happening in the Bundesliga, what's happening in the MLS, make sure you follow us as well. And with the Euros, we're doing daily content. As I said, a bite-sized show that goes out every single morning. Of course, I'm getting fans of us on your stream telling us what we have on our channel. Yes, we have basketball on our channel as well, of course. How can I forget? Impromptu. Yeah, MAD Sports Network, stick it into Google. Our name comes up first. And everybody, all your viewers, if you could, please wish me luck. My dartboard is set up, ready to go. It is ready to go. I've got a divisional match tonight. If I win this, I'll get promoted. If I lose it, I stay in this division, and I don't want to do that. So please wish me luck, guys. I'm going to have you guys on my iPad to the side of me so I can tune into you, of course, via YouTube, because we need to get the views and we need to get the likes. So make sure you like, share, subscribe to Albert JTV. Big up yourself, Guna Souls as well. Make sure you like his channel. And don't forget, follow me on Twitter as well, GavMac23. And, of course, follow us on YouTube as well, MAD Sports Network.
Thank you, Gavs. Big shout out to you. People, go and follow. Don't think about it. Go and subscribe. Go and follow Mad Mac, Gav Mac, and support his channel, bro. Thank you for coming on, and we'll speak soon.
Love you, brothers. Take care, boys.
Right, bro.
You too.
So that is our first guest down. We have the next two coming up. Souls, I want you to fire in some questions to debutants to Albert JTV. We'll firstly bring in, it's the Arsenal connection coming in actually as well, followed by Gavs, who started us off. So we're going to bring in Den, Sideline Talk Podcast. Den, thanks for coming on, bro.
Yes, brothers. How are we?
Not bad. Not bad. Thank you for coming on, mate. Thank you for coming on. Long time.
Yeah, long time coming, mate. But yeah, it's nice just to not talk about Arsenal. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real. Like, if we were going to talk about Arsenal, I may have had to swerve it. But yeah, it's good to finally do something with you, and I'm sure we'll be doing 100%. Likewise.
100. And I'm going to bring in my new debutant, big supporter of Albert JTV, and he's also got his own channel as well. I'm going to bring in Keith. Mostly Arsenal. Keith, what's happening, mate?
Hey, how's it going, lads?
Nice.
You all right?
Yeah,
all good.
Pleasure to get you on. Pleasure to meet both of you, actually. You know, all this Twitter world.
Pleasure to be here, mate.
Yeah, talking. But it's nice to get you guys on screen and actually not talk about Arsenal like Den said, because I need a break I need a vacation from Arsenal, not a break, a vacation. But,
so badly.
I mean, Edu's on one. You can join him if you like.
But yeah, guys, I want to kick off with Den. I also want to sort of touch on the England squad with our previous guest in Gav. Just ask both you guys same question, but Dev's Den, sorry. What's your sort of thoughts on the squad, and what did you make of the initial decision to take 4 right backs?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the big sort of standout, isn't it? Is the fact not just 4 right backs, 10 defenders. Because obviously the fact that Trent got injured was maybe, I feel like it was written as soon as Southgate went against his word. Oh, I'm not going to take him, and then all of a sudden he gets an injury. And I thought that was sort of an opportunity to bring a midfielder in and wake up and smell the coffee, so to speak. But the fact that the initial 26, there was only one problem for me, and that was too many defenders. And yeah, too many right backs, definitely. Yeah. The fact that some of them are versatile, I get it. Reece James, go to speak, can play like in the centre half. I suppose you can look at him as a midfielder should you need it. And then there's all these talks about defenders are, any defender can now play there. And if you play the back 3 or the back 5, you can always count on one to go into the middle. But taking 10 defenders and 5 midfielders was a worry for me, especially considering one of them was Jordan Henderson, who still to this day, we don't know how fit he is. And we all know Southgate likes to play, we'll probably go into this a little bit further, but he likes to play 2 holding midfielders. So when you look at it realistically, with Henderson out injured, we could have done with, I don't know, a Ward-Prowse or something like that. But yeah, I can't say I was disappointed because that would be being harsh. I think all the players that should have gone probably went. I was gutted for Lingard, definitely over anyone, and Ward-Prowse as well. But the problem with him, I think he'd just have trouble getting into the team, so he probably wouldn't be worth taking anyway. But yeah, in terms of the attacking, it was as good as it can be. Like, Maddison was the biggest shock for me. Obviously, he's not come back to be the player we know him to be as well. So that was a big issue. Obviously, his injury, it wasn't great timing when he came back into the Leicester team because the squad was announced, 2-3 weeks later. So he had a bit of a point to prove. And with players like Grealish, they had injuries, but he also had a really good spell before his injury. Whereas Maddison didn't shine as much. But yeah, I mean, it all depends on what he puts out there at the end of the day, which I'm sure we'll go into. It all depends on who he puts in the starting 11. If he's going to play defensively on Sunday, then he just answers. He basically confirms all my doubts. I'm doubtful of the guy anyway, but he'll just confirm my suspicions if he goes and parks the bus on Sunday. Because for me, we've got too much attack in that team to go and play defensively. I don't care who we're up against. We need to just go at them, and it's something we haven't seen England do for years. But yeah, not too bad. Maybe 1 or 2 things I would have changed.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Big up to the guys in the chat. Thank you for joining in. Like I said, smash that like button if you haven't already, and follow my esteemed guests on their channels and their Twitter handles on the screen. So before I bring you in to ask maybe the guys a couple of questions, Keith, I also want to get your thoughts on Southgate, really. And not just sort of this tournament, but his time as the England manager, because it's kind of first started that he didn't particularly really want the job in the first place. But in terms of positives and negatives, what you've seen with him, what do you make of his time as England manager?
When I look at him and see how he is with the players, he's obviously got a really good rapport with them. I sometimes think maybe he'd be better number 2. He just got that sense. He kind of knows how to speak to players, almost how to get the best out of them as people. But my first doubt about him was last time we played Croatia in a tournament.
Yes. In
the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he changed the entire basis of the team, the tactics, the structure, and we kind of went long ball. It's almost like I think he was doing it to try to nullify Rakitic in particular. But it worked against us because their defence just swallowed it up. And it was from that point on, I thought, yeah, I ain't too sure about you now, mate. And I mean, I can only echo what Den said there just now, really, with the amount of defenders he's picked. I'm really quite worried that's a message of intent. That's how we're gonna go out. And I want us to see us go out and play at the English way. I want us to go high tempo, high press, because I don't think we're not good enough to play the slow, the patient game, the tiki-taka, if you want to call it that. We need to go high tempo, especially with the attacking players that we've got. But yeah, I'm not his hugest fan. I don't really think he should be England manager, if I'm being completely honest.
No, listen, that's not a view that's a view that's shared by many football fans in the country, regardless of your colours of the team you support. But so let's bring you in. Is there anything you want to sort of throw at Den and Keith before you say anything? People in the chat, get your questions in, and I'll try and incorporate them to all the panel that come on the live stream tonight. Go on, Sol. Sorry, mate.
I think the question I want to ask you both is, who's your outside favourite to winning the best player of the tournament? This is not the obvious choices like your Mbappes or your Kantes, etc. This is sort of a one to watch kind of thing, not necessarily to win it, but someone who you think will have a good tournament that maybe none of us have thought of. I'll go to Keith first on this one.
The one that really sticks in my mind is Grealish. From what I've seen,
doesn't have to be English, by the way.
Yeah, he's the first one that really sticks out for me. Is Grealish. Looking at he's I'm trying not to try and so hard not to have my Arsenal hat on here because it's just like it's ingrained, isn't it? But I see. I mean, I've made no secret of my absolute love and adoration for ESR, and Queer just plays in the same way. He's a kid in the playground. He just wants to get forward. He wants to attack. So he's the real main one for me. And another one, he's probably not that much of a dark horse, but if you were to pick a top 5, he may not be in there, and it would have to be Serge Gnabry.
Good shout.
Great shout,
I don't enjoy watching him because I look at what could have been again with my Arsenal hat on, and I just can't get away from that. He just, but I think he's an amazing talent. Yeah. So, either of those two, I would say.
Good shout.
Cheers, mate.
Same to you, then. Same question.
It's a hard one because I don't think he is a sort of like an underdog. He shouldn't be anyway, but I don't think many people would say in the top 5. I'm going to go for Benzema because I just don't think people are expecting him to deliver. But because it's his first time back in a competition in I don't know how many years. I'm trying to think of the last time he actually was selected for France. It's got to be at least. I know he wasn't in the last 2.
It's quite a few years.
Quite a few years. So I honestly I think it's just a good time because this would probably be the last for him. He's quite old now, and for me, with that front, he's got the providers behind him, and like the people around him are prolific. They can do a job. Everyone around him can. We've seen the midfield. I think Sol's just mentioned 2 or 3 of them there: Conte, Pogba, Mbappe, and then you got Griezmann. I think with him up top, he can shine, and I don't think anyone's really like everyone's talking about Mbappe's, the Griezmanns, the Contes. They're not considering him, and he's shown this season more than ever at Madrid that he's still got it in his locker. And I hope not. Obviously, as much as we all think France are going to win it, I hope Benzema doesn't. Because the way I see it, you're just it's just adding another great piece to a great puzzle because you're looking at him and you look at the squad around France. It's dangerous enough as it is. So if Benzema's having a good time, we're all screwed. Let's be honest. But yeah, if I was going to say someone else other than him, because he may not be an underdog to look out for or a dark horse, should you speak, it would probably have to be. In fact, it was mentioned on my channel last night, so I'm gonna back that. It'll be Yuri Tillemans.
Good player. Good shout.
Yeah.
Very good player. Very good player. I'm gonna come. Yeah, great guys, great insight, man. I wanted to ask all of you really. I'm gonna sort of get Souls out of the way first. I'm gonna get this out early because we're sort of gonna ask people throughout the whole stream. But in terms of sort of dark horses for the tournament, and who you think's gonna go and win it, I would say I was on a live stream yesterday. Big up Holly Agenbarth in the chat still, even though she's a Tottenham fan. But I'll let her off anyway. I went on her channel with bulletproof vest, but I got looked after, so it was all right. But
unforgivable.
Yeah, I said that I would, from a personal point of view, just not even connected with any sort of affiliation with any Arsenal players or England, but I would like to see Belgium get it done. I think the last World Cup and this Euros, I think that's sort of their chance to win a major tournament with that group of players. I think defensively they might let them down, but dark horses wise, and it's strange to talk about the team as a dark horse with their tradition, but Italy, they got some very, very, very good players. I think the only thing that slightly lets them down a little bit is I wouldn't say they've got an outstanding striker, but they've got a group of strikers in the squad that will get the job done over a potential 6-7 games over a tournament. Turkey be interesting to watch, but I would say dark horses probably Italy. But if I was to put my house on it, I think Portugal could spring a surprise. But so then coming to you, mate. Dark horse and your favorite to win it, and I'll come to Den and Keith to finish up.
I think for me, the dark horses, I think the ones that are going to surprise people are going to be Turkey. Just looking at their squad, there's
good players.
I don't think there's. The thing is, a lot of people. I think you've got to watch football on a whole to understand how good their team actually is, rather than they don't have the Premier League core like many teams do. But just overall, they've all played in major sort of tournaments. They're playing in major leagues at the moment. And I think when they come together as well, they play some very good football. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. And that's why they're my dark horse. In terms of favourites to win it, obviously you're going to say England until they can't, but realistically, if I was to put my house on it, I want to go with the wayward answer, but I'm actually going to go with Germany.
Wow. They say never write off the Germans. They never write them off.
Absolutely.
Do you know why? I think they're going to be underestimated. And I just think there's going to be a weird thing here that, like a Gundogan, for example, getting goals from midfield. Then you've got Kai Havertz. If he plays in mid, he's another goal scorer in midfield. You've got Leroy Sané that a lot of people are writing off. And they've got Serge Gnabry. They've got a good. And do you know what? One of my dark horse players is Thomas Muller. Not enough people respect this man. And I'm telling you, Muller is going to turn this Euros up. Forget about
He's
Werner.
quite consistent as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Muller, and that's why
consistent.
I think Germany for me are going to be my sort of outside favourites to win it.
Yeah. Before I come to Den, you make a good point with Turkey because we're talking about they've got some good players, man. Cengiz Ünder, you got Zeki Çelik, you got Söyüncü, you got Burak Yilmaz. You got some good players there, man. They're going to be dangerous to keep a look out for them. I think Yilmaz got he's part of Lille. They won the league. They won the league recently with and also I think
even Yusuf Yazici
and Zeki Çelik as well. You got Hakan Çalhanoğlu for Milan. You've got some good players there. But yeah, Dan, if I come to you, mate, what's your dark horse and your favourite to win it, mate?
I mean,
Tough.
It is tough. I echo with Turkey. I think they're definitely a dark horse. They've got Koku as well. I don't know if you mentioned him, but
Koku, yeah, well said.
We've been linked with him tons. I don't know how much that is legit, but he is. I mean, I get fucking bored of reading about it. I honestly really, it gets so boring reading that we're into him because like 20 other teams are. But yeah, Turkey have got different, and even at the back they've got Kabak and Demiral. So.
Yes.
I think tonight is going to be a great game. I know you were talking about it with Gav earlier. Tonight should be, if it lives up to expectations, it should be a goal, like a frenzy. Do you get what I mean? But dark horse. This is tough.
Tough.
I don't want to say Germany because Souls has just said it, but because they've got the group they've got, it has to be Germany. I think they're being looked at as if because France and Portugal are up against them, everyone thinks they're gonna knock out early, but they've got some players in there, and I think someone just put in the comments earlier about the management of Portugal. I think that can go against them.
Just to add to that as well, there is also the sort of best of the third that can go through, so Germany could fall into that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. If they get a couple goals, because I don't think that Germany group is going to be very far off. I think it will be a case of goal difference, and if it is, Germany are through. Because if they're tying with someone, and they've got a great keeper in Neuer, and obviously the players that he's just touched on, that Solskjaer just touched on, are magnificent. So if they can try and I'm not going to say park the bus, but if they can get the job done at the back, which is all they've got to do with France and Portugal, really, they've got a really good shot. And I don't think anyone is expecting big things out of them, just because of the fact that Germany haven't been the Germany they used to be, whereas they can be. Like, even Timo Werner, I wouldn't be surprised if he bloody turns up for him, to be fair. And he's had a shocker of a season, but it's like I said about about Sterling and Rashford for England. When you have a bad season, Euros is one of the top things you need at the end of it, because it's something where you can prove your point, and maybe all of a sudden he'll start finding out where the line is for Germany, because that's all it would take. He's been getting the goals in, so yeah, I have to say Germany. I wanted to say something different, but for me it's got to be.
Good shot. Same thing to Keith, really, mate.
I kind of echo what you said, Albert. I'm looking at Belgium. I'm thinking this team that they've got, the players that they've got to win something at some point. I know their back fours, it's getting old. And you've got Thomas Vermaelen still in there. Vertonghen. They're all aging. But you look at the rest of the team and you think they've got to win something at some point. So they were my first dark horses, but I'm going to go for England as dark horses. I don't know what the bookies' odds are.
We're not a dark horse. It's coming home.
I'm hoping it's coming home.
We can't be a dark horse.
The thing is, if you put us up against like France, like I said, Germany, we, you know, there's a very good chance that we probably would come unstuck if I'm being realistic. Obviously, I'm an England fan. I don't want that to happen. But if I'm being realistic, that might happen. But I was trying to suss out all the different connotations of how the tournament will play out. I was trying to work out who would get who when you've got 1D versus 3A, 3B, or 3C, and like my head was about to explode. But I did work out that if we win our group, granted, we'll probably have, and if we win our group and then we win the round of 16 knockout game, we will have to have played either France, Germany, or Portugal. And if we get to the final and win by winning our group, we've only got to play one game away from Wembley. So that essentially makes it a home tournament for us. I don't think anyone else has got that. I think it is one other team that have all their home games as hosts in the group at home. I think it might be Denmark, might be the other ones. I know Scotland haven't. They're classed as a host, but obviously the game against us is at Wembley. And, you know, depending on what happens with the lockdown restrictions being eased on the 21st, we could be playing at full Wembley by the time we got Scotland. They're my dark horses. You know, as far as favourites go, yes, France. You look at them and what they're capable of, and like Den said, Benzema's been absolutely on fire this season, and then he's got Griezmann, Mbappe, Pogba, you know, everyone else behind him. I've been looking at Camavinga since the rumours came out, and I was watching this kid on YouTube. It's all I've seen of him, but he didn't even make the squad. And,
Musa Sissoko did.
You know, so I don't want to say France as my favourites because that's kind of like what everyone's got. But again, I've got a feeling for Germany. You know, tournaments. It doesn't matter what they're doing for 2 years on the trot. Tournaments, they always turn it on, and you know, people like, Gnabry, I think he scored 8 in 7 in the qualifiers. I'm not sure if I'm absolutely right on that, but you know, he was banging him in. And then you got Thomas Muller up front. He's just like, it's probably going to be between him, Lewandowski, and Kane maybe for the Golden Boot. You can't bet against them. It pains me, but I think I might go with Germany for my favourites.
Oh, good shout, guys. Before I let you go on, first I want to thank you for coming on, Keith, and then quality.
Thanks for having us, mate.
But no, give us a shout out of your channel, Keith. Where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter at the Mad Rambling One, where I tend to just talk a lot of rubbish, but if you're into that sort of stuff, and I occasionally get into rows.
Mate, don't worry.
I occasionally get into rows with people. I try not to, but it happens from time to time. And if you fancy following me on YouTube, find me on Keith at Mostly Arsenal. It's brand new. I think I've got like 27 subscribers. So if you want to jump in, feel free and get me monetized. I need money. I've got kids.
Good shout. That, you know what? Don't subscribe, people. You sold it perfectly. But then, thank you for coming on, bruv. Tell me where people can find you, my friend.
Sideline Talk podcast. So we're on all platforms. We go live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube every Thursday. We're going to be doing weekly stuff on Thursdays on the Euros, which will work out perfectly. So come give us a subscribe. It's not all Arsenal. It's a platform where there's plenty of topics, all Premier League. We'll be doing a lot of Euro content. But cheers for having me, mate. And I'll make sure we'll do something in the near future on my channel as well. And Souls, it's always good to see you, brother. And Keith as well. I know you sort of checked out on me on the vaccine yesterday, so I appreciate that. I'm alive and well, mate. I'm enjoying the weather.
But much love to Keith and Dennis. You've shown great support to my channel, and much love and respect to you. And guys, people go and subscribe to my Gooners and footballing community, man. They deserve it. So, guys, I will speak to you soon. Take care.
Boys. Take care, fellas.
Nah, lad. Souls, doing all right. Next person in. We've got Man United coming in here.
We're England, mate. It's not United. We're England. We're England. Give me a break. Don't hit me like that. How are we?
It's a pleasure to have you on, mate. Thank you for coming on my channel again. I think this is the third time or second time now. I can't remember. But
Mate, I'm basically a veteran.
yeah. But much love. We support different clubs, but you know what? You've been a great support to my channel, mate, and I appreciate it honestly. So glad you can come on, mate. 100%.
Thanks for having me on, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No, I thought, I definitely got to get this. Definitely got to get Dan on, man, my guy, man. But, yeah, Dan. I also want to, sort of England. It's I want to come at a different angle, really. What would have been your expectations for England,
mate? It's
coming into it before, probably even before the squad got announced. What was your expectations of what they could do in this tournament?
Mate, honestly, up until a month before the Euros, I'm doom and gloom. The second it comes to a month before the Euros, it's coming home. Every tournament, even when Roy Hodgson was in charge, I was like, no, we're going to win. I'm just that hopeless romantic when it comes to England. I wish I wasn't, but I can't help myself. And expectations, do you know what? Because of the squad we've got now, it's impossible not to feel good. There is that feel good factor with the players we've got in this squad.
No, good shot. So, Dan, I don't know if you want to come and ask a question, but before you do, Dan, just want to go through the games, guys. You can see it on the screen. Audio listeners, I will be putting this out on Spotify and on my Instagram, IGTV. So, England kickoff against Croatia on Sunday. 2 p.m. kickoff. I'm sure the pubs will not be very busy at all. Followed by England versus Scotland, the enemy, on the 18th of June. And we've got Czech Republic against England on Tuesday, 22nd, at 8 p.m. kickoff. Before I go any further, I'm going to introduce my second guest to come in. Glad to have him back on the channel again. The Aston Villa connection. We've got Jude.
Hello,
Journey.
mate. Thanks for having me on, mate.
No, I'm glad to get you on again, man. First, I want to say, Jude, congratulations on. I know you got a gig doing talking about covering Holland during the Euros. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I do some writing for Babel. So yeah,
Brilliant.
That's been great. So yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, I did see that. I thought, now let me give him a shout. He deserves it. Yeah, no, I do. Pleasure to get you on again, mate. So before I come back to Dan, and Souls might want to drop in a question to you as well, mate. You've got obviously Villa representation with Tyrone Mings, and you've got obviously lovely Jack Grealish, who'll probably be joining Arsenal in a few months' time or whatever. according to Arsenal Twitter.
Arsenal Twitter think they know everything.
I have not reported this one. I can tell you that I'm not that crazy.
Jude, yeah, just want to sort of ask you about Jack Grealish, really. In my starting lineup, that me and Souls were to and fro in. There were certain people we was kind of like, they're definitely going to start against Croatia, but we sort of scratching our heads thinking, you know what? Not really sure. I'm going to get the team up on screen in a minute. So people in the chat and people watching this on a rerun, don't lose your heads, because me and Soul done the team based on what we think Southgate's going to pick and not what we would have picked. So Jude, yeah, I'm going to get the team up on screen, mate.
Okay.
Tell me what you think of it. Give me 2 secs. It's here somewhere. Me and Souls are racking our brains. I would personally start Grealish. For people on audio, if you're listening, we've got me and Souls gone for Pickford in goal. Back three, play 3-4-3, which Southgate is familiar with playing. Cody, John Stones, Walker, Reece James on the right, Declan Rice and Mount sort of in the middle. Luke Shaw at left wing back, Grealish on the left of a three, Kane up top on his own, and Rashford on the right. Jude, would you go along with that team, or what reservations would you have with that starting lineup?
Yeah, look, I think that would be a perfect team, and as a Villa fan, I'd love to see Grealish play on the left wing. But I think my only concern is with Grealish. If you're putting Grealish on the left wing, is Southgate. He has his favourites, and he might be inclined, although they haven't had a great season, to put Sterling in and obviously Rashford on the flanks. So I feel like if Grealish is going to start, it might be in the number 10 role. But saying that, in the qualifiers, we've seen him play anywhere, and we saw him in a news conference the other day saying that, look, I'll play anywhere. I'll play on the left, on the number 8 or number 10. So he just wants to play for his country. He's dreamt of this his whole life, and I just hope Southgate starts him, because it's not very often you get the whole nation talking about one player, and I think everyone. I mean, on this panel, do you all agree? You think that Grealish should start?
Yeah.
I think he'll start 100%.
Should he start? Yes. Will he start? I'm still terrified as to what Southgate is going to do with selection.
Yeah, I'm unsure.
don't
Sorry,
think he-
Dan, to come in. Sorry, Jude. I'm going to bring you back in both. You know what it is? It's trying to get Grealish, Mount, and Foden in the same team, knowing that Southgate has got mad love for Sterling and Rashford. That's where the problem is, regardless of what system it's going to be. So sorry, Dan. Sorry, come in, mate. Sorry, mate.
I think the issue you've got, and the worry you've got, is this takes me back to the Sven days when we were trying to fit Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes into that midfield together. This is before anyone realised you could play a three-man midfield, and I just worry people like Grealish and people like Foden who are just. I mean, let's have this right. They are scary good. Grealish is unreal. The way he picks that ball up, has no fear, drives. He terrifies defenders when he goes at them. I worry that Southgate won't know what to do and will go safe with it. I really do. The other thing I will say is you put Connor Cody in there. I've got a funny feeling and it's a big if Maguire isn't fit for the group, I think he's going to put White in there. I think he's chose White for the simple reason he's been terrified of what Mings did when he played.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if he trusts Connor Cody to start in a game like that. Whereas White has come in, he come off the bench, played really well, one off the line, showed real good awareness there. And you know what? Against Romania, I know it's only Romania, but Jesus Christ, he was brilliant. He looked like he played 20, 30 games at the back for England. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, Souls, I'm going to before I bring you in, Souls, if you want to pose questions to Jude and obviously Dan. Dan, you make a good point. Keith made the point earlier, the previous guest, he said that when I asked him about reservations about Southgate, positives and negatives, he mentioned the semi-final against Croatia. And I remember that game. England reverted back to sort of the Sven days of going ahead and then sitting back for 90 minutes, and England sort of lost their way. And what worries me with England is we're not very good at keeping the ball. I've seen so many tournaments under different managers.
Yeah.
Our ball retention is terrible.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that concerns me about England potentially winning the tournament, because Portugal would suffocate them. France would pass them off the pitch. Croatia might have them running around doing doggies, for anyone that doesn't know that term in football. A lot of running, a hell of a lot of running, drills. And so I was bringing you in, mate. Yeah, any questions you want to pose to Dan and Jude, mate?
Yeah, I think obviously a lot from what I can hear from you guys, you've got quite a good insight into what Southgate's going to do. So my question is, the friendly showed us something different. Obviously, the last two games, he's kind of reverted into a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 kind of formation. Do you actually think there's a possibility that Southgate could not steer away exactly, but in certain games where, let's say, England are more favourites to win and we should be dominating those games, that he will revert to like a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1 and not a 3-4-3? Or do you think he's going to be stubborn to this 3-4-3 system throughout the Euros? I'll throw it to Jude first.
Yeah, I think, look, Southgate is known for being stubborn in there, and I think he, like I said, he has his favourites, and I think that'll go the same for his formation. I think unless we have major injury problems, then I think Southgate would have picked his best 11, his best formation, and I imagine he will stick with that. And it's all about getting, I just hope, with whatever system he decides to use, we get the best out of what we've got, because we've got some brilliant talents. And like Dan alluded to, there's times when in the Gerrard and Scholes era where we had so many great talents, but they just wouldn't gel as a team. And I just hope that doesn't happen this time around. And because you look at the talents like your Grealishes, your Fodens, your Kanes, they're brilliant, and they're match winners. They can change games, but only if you put them in the right system and they all gel together.
Yeah,
good shout. Jude and Dan, I want to get you. Someone mentioned it previously about sort of the odds for who's going to win the Euros. Let's get them up on screen, and obviously top goal scorers. I want to get you guys' thoughts. It's tough, man, because Souls I know has done it, and I've done it. We've gone through some of the squads in this tournament. They are red hot in terms of some of the players they've got. Portugal, France, Germany have got some fabulous players. Listen, don't rule out the Dutch. They got some brilliant players. Windal, the left back. You've got Ryan Gravenberch. You've got Darun in there. You've got Quincy Promise. You've got Depay, who's hit some amazing form in the last 18 months. So guys, I'm gonna get it up on screen. Let me get the image on screen. It is basically so. Dan, I'm gonna come to you before I get up on the screen. Who are your favourites for the tournament and top goal scorer? What are you thinking, mate?
Oh, God. Do you know what? If I get bantered, I get bantered. I don't give a shit. England are going to win this Euros, and Harry Kane is going to score a bag of goals. I don't even care. Do you know what? The Euros have started. My wife is downstairs livid because she knows it's a month of football. I don't care. I just can't stop. I can't stop myself. You can clip it, and you can at me when we go out in the group stages. But I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, for audio listeners, and I'm going to get Jude's opinion. Obviously, France, they've got France at 9-2, England 11-2, Belgium 13-2, Spain 15-2, Italy fifth favourites 15-2, Germany 8-1. That's not a bad shout actually. Portugal 17-2, Netherlands 13-1, and even Denmark, ex-European champions in 1992. Believe me when I say it is possible. Look at Greece in 2004. Jude, coming to you, top goal scorer wise, what are you thinking? There's some obvious candidates there, but it's, as you can see by some of the stuff on the screen and in terms of the betting, Lukaku and Kane and Mbappe and are sort of the top three. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with what they're saying. I think they've all had brilliant seasons. And Lukaku, brilliant in Inter Milan, and of course Mbappe. Well, Mbappe's Mbappe, isn't he just loves scoring goals. I just think, as well, you saw on that list Immobile. He's had a brilliant season. I do think Italy will be dark horses.
100%.
And I think they'll go quite far. So Immobile could be a shout. Isn't Griezmann injured? Or
I heard he was.
No. It's Benzema that's injured.
Oh dear.
But he's got a knock. It's not already an injury.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, I think it's a decent shout. If you ask me now who top goal scorer will be, I'm just going to go someone different. Romelu Lukaku.
Lads, can I ask you a question? Why isn't Moreno not mentioned from Villarreal? I mean, Luis Enrique really likes him. He's got 33 goals this season. I mean, bloody scored against us in the final. I don't understand. They're putting Morata above him. I don't understand that. If I'm Enrique has been dropping little hints all week that Moreno's his boy, and I tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like him comes in there and gets a hatful of goals.
Good shout, Dan. Dan, if you've got a spare, if you have got a spare tenner, I'm not advocating everyone to go and bet their last tenner, right? But if you've got a bit of spare change in the back seat, have some money on Moreno. But now, Dan, it's a good shout because I'm thinking. And Morata over Gerard Moreno, that can't be right.
But the other name that's not there is Thomas Muller. Muller always bangs in a tournament.
Always scores for Germany. Always scores for Germany.
Oh, you know what
Moreno reminds me of?
I worry about
AC David Villa. That's what Moreno's.
Exactly.
That is literally what I think of him. His quality is very clinical. Morata, I don't understand this Morata hype, and a lot of people are saying, but he's very non-clinical. He can't finish as well as the other options they've got. The biggest miss for Spain, and I know this is going to sound very biased, but I don't care. I'm going to say it. Ansu Fati is a big miss. Luis Enrique was expecting him to be ready for the Euros, but he had another setback when he came back. The operation didn't go quite as what they hoped for. But he will be a massive miss. But I'm going to say remember the name Ansu Fati when he does return.
I'll tell you something else as well that you mentioned before, Albert, and I've got to be honest, there's one international team that makes me livid. And when I say livid, it irritates me. Is this idea that Belgium are the top team in the bloody world? They've not won anything That's like me. That's like me going to Power League on a Monday night, banging in 7 goals and being the best striker in Shropshire. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They are England of the noughties. They won't win anything. They bottle jobs, absolute bottle jobs. All that talent, and they won't win a thing. I'm telling you now, they're nowhere near good enough.
I was going to say, Dan, are you ruling out Belgium then? Sorry, go on, Jude. Sorry.
No, will Belgian fans be saying the same thing about us, though?
Oh, but we've got history, mate. We do it every time, don't we? I mean, and we're not ranked number 1 in the world. You know, if we were ranked number 1 in the world, having not won anything, I'd be embarrassed. You know, honestly, I'd be embarrassed. What's his name? The manager of bloody of Belgium, Martinez. Yeah. So Martinez and Southgate, 2 international managers, are stealing a living. Both terrible at club level, other than winning the FA Cup with Wigan. I'm not having it. Belgium won't win a bloody thing. Won't win a bloody thing. I'm telling you.
You need to clip that. You need to clip this.
I will. You know what it is? Before I let you two guys go, first I want to thank you for coming on, but I want to sort of get your in terms of Belgium quickly. Sorry, I think the last World Cup in this tournament will be their best chance to win a major tournament with that group of players. But I think defensively, I mean Jason Denier. I'm like, what? Yeah, just very suspect defensively, but offensively they are tasty. Tielemans. I've always rated Thomas Meunier.
Hang on, Albert. Lukaku and Hazard have bellies like me, and I'm meant to think that these guys are going to win the Euros. Not a chance, mate. Not a chance. I'm telling you. Not a chance. Maybe
Hazard definitely, but Lukaku, I'll give him a fair play. He's had a half decent. I know you're a bit sore because he's ex-Man United, but it's fine, Dan. It's all right.
Not having it, mate. Not having it.
But before I let you two guys go, where can the guys find you on your amazing channel and Twitter, mate?
So you can follow me on Twitter. The handle is down there, Jude's Journey somewhere. Anyway, and on YouTube, I'm an aspiring young journalist trying to prove you can do something you love. So just trying to get that message out there, and got some brilliant interviews on there. So go and check it out if you can. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, hear that, people? Go and check out Jude, man. And yes, before you ask, I have subscribed to his channel, so I wouldn't tell you to do something that I haven't done already. So Dan, thank you again, bro. Where can the guys find you?
Just quickly, by the way, Jude, fantastic, mate. I'll definitely be subscribing. Really, honestly, fantastic. Well done to you, mate. You know, when you said, Albert, and joining us now is the Villa fan, I thought it was Chris. So when you watch the video back, I go like this to go, way! And then I do this and see Jude, and I go, and I try and make a yawn out of it. Not that I'm not pleased to see you, Jude. Well done, mate. And honestly, everybody watching, make sure you subscribe. Fantastic work, mate. As for me, unless you're a Belgium fan,
turn off.
Yeah, come and find me. It's at Football Want. Just giving non-league the voice it deserves. And also on YouTube, it's Football Is, and that is what I want. But guys, honestly, Solzen and Albert, fantastic show. Thank you so much for having me on. Jude, I'm looking forward to following your journey, mate. And to everyone in the comments, have a great weekend, and let's have some fantastic football. And it's coming home.
Come on, England.
Right, is David Badil in the background? I think he's coming on next to the stream. Hold on, let me get him on. Hold on. No, guys, thanks for coming on. Jude, much love. Dan, much love. People, go and subscribe and follow them. Speak to you soon, boy.
Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh, here we go. We've got two souls. We're doing all right so far, man. A lot of talking. Guys, before we bring in the next people to come in, you should know what to do by now. And there you have it, people. Like, share, and subscribe. Who we've got in now? I'm going to bring in our next guest. Where's she gone now? Where's she gone? We're going to bring her in.
So we give a little sneak preview and then you kind of removed it.
Oh, no. I've done that. It's rude of me, innit? We'll bring her in. Lottie's here.
You're muted.
Albert, you're so rude. What are you doing to me, man?
Sorry, I'm going to introduce all of it at the same time. I'm going to bring in... We have the trio, Arsenal trio here. We're going to bring in my Cornwall bestie as well. Let me get her in. And we're going to bring in one more. We've got We've got the super striker coming back again on Albert J TV in Little Soph. And there we have you. Firstly, welcome to all of you to Euro 2020 preview. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate the effort, the time and effort, and the support you've shown to my channel. And retweets are free, so thank you very, very much. Welcome aboard, people.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Right. So I'm gonna let you kick it off. See what do you want? Let's see what questions you can pose to the amazing panel in Lottie, G, and Sophie.
Oh, let's see. Let's go with a bit of a tough one. Now, obviously, we've only got 2 representatives at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually 3. Sorry, I forgot about Jacques. He's
Oh,
gone, so that's
God,
good.
say that,
But yeah, we've got
that now,
You don't count.
at Arsenal. Officially, which is Kieran Tierney and Saka. Now, a lot of people have obviously got their sort of reservation. Oh, let them rest, let them, don't let them take part. But obviously, international football is something every kid dreams of. Whether it's at a high level, whether you want to play for your country, that's ultimately the goal. How do you think they're going to go? And do you think Southgate's going to give an opportunity to Saka? Because we know Tierney is a staple piece. He's a furniture at Scotland. He should be people are arguing that he should be the captain there. So how do you think them 2 will fare? And do you think they'll get an opportunity or a fair opportunity to actually play? I'll kick it off with Lottie.
Do you know what? I don't think Southgate's going to start Saka at all. It might be maybe the 3rd game, and he'd be brought on as a sub. As it's been said earlier, Southgate has his favourites, and Sterling's had an absolutely awful season as it is. I'm just trying to think. I do think 3 games, and then we'll see him for about 20 minutes max.
What about Tierney there? What do you think? How do you think?
Oh, come on, he's after. With my Arsenal hat, he's our favourite. He's going to get the game time with Scotland. I mean, the Scotland game's going to be a bloodbath. They're just going to go out to win it. Even if they haven't got high in the group, they're just going to go out to win it because it's England. But no, Tierney will be on every game without fail.
So yeah, I'll switch it up a bit now. I'm going to ask the question to obviously G there. Who's your sort of dark horse, but a player, not the team? Who's your dark horse player? Someone that maybe doesn't stand out. Maybe it's not a big name, but it's going to have a really, where you have that one player like Okocha made it for Mexico when he became this big goalkeeper, and now we don't see where he is. But there's always that one name that's the big name for the summer. One of the big teams goes and grabs him. Who do you think that could be, in your opinion?
For any team?
Any team. It can be
any
English
team,
or any.
Although I don't think it's going to go on to being a big transfer, but I actually do think Gnabry for Germany.
Yes, good shout.
He's improved so much, and obviously in Bayern you're going to be a better player, aren't you? But so I don't think it's going to be one to watch and then a big transfer. I think it's just going to be coming on to the stage, really, because I don't think he's been involved in a big tournament before. Maybe one of the last players of the squad. I don't really know, but yeah, I think he'll definitely be one to look at for sure, and probably a bit of a heartbeat for Germany.
100%. I actually agree with that one. Same question to you, Sophie. Who's your dark horse, but a player of this tournament?
I'm not just saying this because you said this, but I was actually thinking about that, and I think as well Gnabry, maybe Muller as well. I was watching Germany the other day and thought they were amazing. Maybe look Gnabry a bit more because he played for Arsenal, but yeah, I think he's going to do so well in this tournament. That is a really good question, though, to be honest.
Good question. So even I must admit, so I'm very impressed by that question.
You know who mine is? Mine is actually Gerard Moreno.
Yes, good shout.
I think he's going to. Well, we've already got indications he's going to start over Morata. And like I said, I've always said, you know what? He reminds me of David Villa, but with a bit of pace. And I do think he's going to have a quality, and I think he's going to make that. I know he's old, but I still think he's going to make a bit of an announcement in the Euros about how good he actually is.
Good shout. Before I ask you, ladies, a nice juicy deep question. I can see I'll get one in there. So you make a good point. I think I mentioned earlier in the stream that the players that I'm looking forward to seeing some of the Italian players, Barella and how Belotti gets on up front. Also, I would like to see how Ferran Torres gets on actually for Spain. It's not easy to come in, obviously, club level for Man City, biggish fee, new country. But he's done pretty decent for Spain, actually, the games I've seen playing. He scored a hat-trick, I think, earlier part in one of the Nations League games or one of the qualifying games. But interesting to see how Ferran Torres gets on. But question to the Goonerettes in regard to England. A bit of a loaded question, but who would be, because I think England will play a 3-4-3 on Sunday. And I think they should play that because Croatia are technically a very, very, very technical side, very good at keeping the ball. So I get why we play that system. But who would be your front three to start on Sunday against Croatia? I'm going to come to Lottie first, actually.
I'd go with Grealish on the left. As much as I hate him, Harry Kane in the middle. And probably Rashford on the right, as you had on the screen earlier. That was just perfect for me. I would like to see Foden on the left though, as well, but again, he could be cancelled out by Sterling. Anything? Who knows what he's thinking at the moment?
That's the thing. Lots before I bring in G and Sophie. G and Sophie might disagree or agree with what I'm going to say, and the guys in the chat and people when they watch this, they rerun on Souls. But I said it earlier in the stream because Southgate seems to reward England players that have done well for England. So when people get on England players that are not playing well for their clubs, Southgate sometimes doesn't really see it like that. I.e., Jordan Pickford, for example. Coming to you, G, who would be your front three?
I think you have to go with Kane up top, don't you? As much as we all say it. Record's insane, but
he'll be ex Tottenham soon. Don't worry, G. It's all right.
Yeah. So
better be.
Don't worry soon. For me, Grealish has to be there. He's just so special, and I think everyone puts him in the same category as some of the others, but I think he's just completely different. And I would say Foden on the other side, purely because Grealish plays so freely that he doesn't stay. He's not going to stay on the left. He'll be all over the place. So those maybe interchanging and swapping as the game goes, I think would be quite interesting.
Yeah, Sophie, before I come to you, I think you know what it is. It's crazy. I think Souls would agree with me when we sort of trying to pick an England 11 for Sunday. That I can see it had to me. Foden and Grealish have to start, but looking at the setup of the team, I think one of them will miss out. So it's going to upset the England fan base regardless, because whatever Southgate's going to do. But Sophie, coming to you, like, what's your sort of thoughts, and also as well, Sophie, what is your score prediction for Sunday?
Oh, do you mean the thoughts on what they've said about the front three first, or?
I think Lottie, you said the same thing. You said so. You went Grealish, Kane, and Rashford. G, what did you say again? Sorry, I can't remember.
Grealish, Kane, and Foden.
Okay, cool. What about you, Sophie? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd obviously have Harry Kane, unfortunately. He'll be ex-Tottenham soon, so that's fine.
Exactly.
I'd have Kane, Grealish on the left, and it's difficult. Sterling's not in there for me, because I just think his end product is very poor. I agree. I'll probably go for Foden. Like, I do think Rashford is good, does deserve to play, but I think sometimes he misses chances that he needs to put away, and that isn't good enough. Score predictions, that is so difficult. I'm probably going to go 2-1. I'm not. It's
Ooh.
it's difficult because like when I know the friendlies, but when you watch how we played the other day,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% convinced. Like we were just very like boring to watch, defensive, but we do have a really good team. Probably one of the best. But yeah, I'm not like 100% confident, but I do actually think we'll win.
Okay. So, do you want to come in? What do you want to fire up the it's coming home and the rest of it?
Oh yeah, it is coming home. Obviously, until it's impossible, it's coming home. I don't care. It's coming home, lads. France bun them. They're useless anyway. Germany bun them. All of them. Look at our front three. We can play Sancho. We can play Sterling. We can play Grealish. We can play Foden. Mount can do a job there. And don't forget, we've got our star boy that no one's mentioning. We've got Bukayo Saka coming off the bench. Game changer. Super sub. Got his goal for England the other day. Absolutely buzzing for him. You know, he's developed this season, and I do think he will feature, maybe not start. But you know, another player that none of you have mentioned, and I do think he's going to get the nod over a lot, because don't forget, it's the right-hand side we're questioning. And the only right-hand sided player that we have is Sancho, and the only one the other person that can do a job is Saka. And I know Saka won't be starting, not yet. So I think Jadon Sancho will probably get the nod over Rashford if it is that right-hand side that's in question. Unfortunately, now I'm going to go DCL. I'm not giving Harry Kane the start. He messed it up last time for us, so forget about him. And then on the left, I think Jack Grealish is vital, and I think that showed in the friendlies. I think Southgate wanted to test him to see where he wants to play him, whether that's going to be next to Declan Rice or whether that's going to be further up on that left-hand side. And I think because of his discipline of not sticking to his position, he's probably going to let him have that freedom on the left-hand side, because he's more than likely going to play Luke Shaw. So I do think that's got to be the front three. It's got to be, unfortunately, Harry Kane. Probably going to be top goal scorer if we do well in this tournament and we don't bottle it ultimately. The less Spurs players in that 11, the better, because we don't need bottle jobs. Because I want to be singing "It's Coming Home." I want to be in that final. Do you know that kick? Do you know what? I'm going to throw it back to a recent event. Yeah, when Kieran Trippier scored that free kick, the bars went. All I'm saying, have you seen the videos? Beer everywhere. You know, everyone was on a madness. Everyone hugging each other when we were allowed to. Now we've got to socially distance to it. You know, little. Elbowing and
elbow
that.
pumps,
So I've got to say, I was down in Box Park in Shoreditch for that. It was unbelievable.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Unbelievable
Outdoors,
to be there.
It was hot, brilliant.
I was washing Guinness out of my hair for days.
So I would also ask you. I know, sort of moving away from England, there's quite a big game on tonight. Actually, I'm looking forward to Turkey versus Italy. I mentioned before, Italy have got. I wouldn't say they've got a sort of a main striker, but they've got guys that will do a job over a course of 5 or 6 games in a tournament. But what's your score predictions for tonight? Irrespective of how much you know about Turkey and Italy, what's your gut feeling telling you? Starting with Sophie.
Oh, that's a really hard question, because I know Turkey, a lot of people probably think they're the underdogs as well. But I think I'm going to go 2-0 Italy. I think they've got a really good team. I don't know an awful lot about them because I am focusing more on England. But yeah, I think I'm going to go 2-0. I think they will win. I'm confident they will. I think they've got a lot of good players as well.
Okay, we're gonna ask Lottie and G a loaded question. I'm gonna ask you obviously what's your score prediction for tonight, but also what's your score prediction for England's game on Sunday, starting with G.
So tonight, I think I'm going to go Italy 3-1, purely because I think they'll be really hungry from missing out on the last World Cup. They've also got a bit of a fresher team since then. I know they've got some old boys at the back, but
Bonucci and Chiellini are still there, there.
But they've got a young goalkeeper.
Yes,
and a pretty decent team, and I'm really looking forward to watching them, to be fair. And I think on Sunday, I think it's going to be quite a tight game. I'm going to say 1-0 to us, and it will probably be from a set piece again, purely because the way we have been playing in our, I know friendlies aren't the same, but we haven't, we've had to have a penalty or something. We've not really created a lot, so I think it'd be quite tight.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'll go along with that. Lottie, coming to you.
I'm gonna go 3-2 to Italy. I think it's going to be an absolute goal fest. If I'm honest with you, I mean, the quality, as you said earlier, the quality of Turkey at the moment is just unreal. I mean, Italy is just as good. It's going to be a good game. It's got to be a good game. It's first game. As for England, I think we're going to do it 2-1, but we're going to grab that goal in the last minutes and have that game off Croatia.
See, gee, you got 1-0 England. I tell you what, if England keep a clean sheet, I will be shocked, to be honest with you. Against Croatia. Because they've got a striker, Croatia, in Petkovic, who they say with Croatia they've got pint-sized footballers, but with Petkovic, he's sort of likened to a Olivier Giroud type striker, so he's going to give them a bit more physical presence. But I'll give my score prediction probably towards the end of the stream for England. I'll keep people waiting, it's fine. But guys, I'm going to let you go only because I've got some people want to wait in the background. But first, I want to thank you for coming on, for gracing me with your presence, and thank you for your insight. But before you go, Sophie, plug your channel. Where can people find you?
My YouTube is Schooner Gossip TV. And thanks for having me on, by the way.
Oh, yeah, congrats on 550, by the way. I've not managed to get around to that.
That's it. Right, Sophie, we'll get you up to 1,000 by the end of the stream. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. We'll get people subscribing that there is. But Sophie, much love. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
G, thank you for first time on my channel. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you in person.
Me too.
Yeah. Where can the guys find you for your positivity and your amazing footballing skills for your local team?
So my Twitter is at LilTrigger2, showing on the screen there. I play local football as well down in Cornwall, so I sometimes post about it, so if you want to follow, I might do it more this coming season.
Yes, you post away, G. You post away.
Thank you.
I'm coming to my London homie, Lottie. Where can the guys find you?
You can find me on my Twitter handle, which is Lottie_B. It's with 2 I's. Also, you can come and find me on Canon Chatter TV, which I have recently joined Stephen and G on. I do have my own show, which I've only just done the first episode. We're also on Monday. We're back with the Rumour Mill at 9 o'clock, and also we are kicking off our 3 Lions show, Road to Wembley. So make sure you look in, guys. Canon Chatter TV.
The people, you've heard it here. Go and subscribe. Do not even think about it. Go and follow him on Twitter. Lottie, G, Sophie, I will speak to you very, very soon. Thank you for coming on. Much love.
Thank you.
Oh, we've got them off. Is it? We're going to get the next lot in coming in. Go, Gary's already in. We've got him stateside. We're going to bring her in.
I don't know how I'm going to beat that last panel.
We've got the stateside massive in the chat.
Oh, no.
And we're going to bring in Mike as well. Guys, thank you for gracing me with your presence. I appreciate you giving me up your time to kick off Era 2020. I've been looking forward to this, as well as my co-host Guna Souls. So, Gary, thank you for coming on the channel.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad.
I'm going to start a bit different. I'm going to give you a plug at the start and the end. So, Gary, you plug your channel. Where can people find you?
All right, yeah, I'm on DWTT on YouTube. Just type in DWTT Arsenal and I should pop up first. Don't waste a tweet on Twitter. And things have been a little dead for me lately with work and then with no Arsenal. So I really don't want to.
That's a good thing, Gary. Don't worry.
I really don't want to talk about the transfer window because 1 is not much to talk about, but 2, I'm just going to get upset. So
no, I don't want you doing that on Euro 2020 preview. Do not get upset.
No, I'm good.
And I'm going to introduce my sister from stateside. 1,500 plus now. Round up to Jess. It's Jessina. Thank you for coming to the channel.
Thank you for having me. I think I kind of forced my way on because you guys originally didn't have me, and I was like, let me in. I want to be a part of it. So thank you for letting me be on the show. I really appreciate it.
Jess, of course, she's going to be invited. Of course. So now, congratulations on 1,500 subs on your channel. Great content. I do try to keep up with it, but sometimes I need to sleep, Jess, and it's fine. But I always do catch up. It's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's all right. Mike, thank you for coming to the channel. Long time no see. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, mate. And it's been a while, wasn't it? Yeah.
It has been a while. It's probably been a good thing, mate, because I don't really want to talk about Arsenal for quite a while, if I'm honest, but it's fine. Oh, he's gone mute. Is he gone there? He's gone. Oh, right. We're going to kick off. Gary, I'm glad I got you and Jess on, actually, because I want to sort of take away the blood and thunder of England fans and the whole it's coming home and 20 points later and, you know, we're out in the semi-finals. Let's just rein it back. Let's just rein it back in a little bit. So we're going to ask you first off the bat, what have you made, of the England squad? And on top of that, were you happy with the replacement in Ben White? Kicking off with Jess.
I mean, amazing attacking talent. I mean, there's nothing more to really say about that. I mean, going forward, totally stacked. I mean, Jack Grealish, Foden, Sancho, Rashford, Sterling, Kane. What more could you ask for? The only questions that I really have are from the front line back, you know, what's going on there. But ultimately, I think that there's enough there to make a good run far into the tournament. I know a lot of England fans have high hopes for this golden generation. And so I hope that Southgate's tactics can, you know, go together with the squad and you guys can get a good outcome from it. In regards to Ben White, I've said it multiple times on my channel. I don't think he's as good as people make him out to seem. He's just, I don't know. I don't see it. I'm not there with it. And Ward-Prowse to me had a better game when I think it was the day after they chose Ben White. But Ward-Prowse seemed to be able to give you something a little bit different. And then he has the dead ball specials as well. So I was a little bit like, okay, well, why don't you choose him? But ultimately, Ben White can play in multiple positions, they say. And it is what it is. I don't rate him. So that's just me.
Jess, if I said to you, I think he's better than Rob Holding, would that change your mind?
Does it take much to be better than Rob Holding? Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's not a good gauge of like, is he a good center back? Like, you know, but I think he's better than Holding, but it doesn't take much to be that. And from an Arsenal, like not like we're not talking about Arsenal, but I wouldn't take him at Arsenal. But if he's good enough for England, then hey, I don't know.
Yeah, let's leave Arsenal till I don't know the start of the new season. That'd be probably ideal. But
you've checked out, haven't you, Albert? You're done.
Yeah, I don't get too caught up in the transfer stuff, but Gary, sort of the same question to you. What did you make of the England squad, and also touching on the game on Sunday against Croatia? I don't know if you managed to see the team lineup that I put up with me and Souls for what we thought Southgate might do. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Would you do anything different, or would you think that's a team that he might possibly go with?
Yeah, no, I guess anytime the England squad comes up, the first thing is how many right backs are you going to have, and why can't you kind of even things out a little bit? That's usually the first thing that comes out. So it's, you know, right there, there's the man. I mean, that I think that right there, you've got the key to the England squad right there in the bottom right. You know, what will he do with the players that he's got? Does he have good players? Yes, I believe he has really good players. Is he going to put them in positions to succeed and flourish? That is the big question, because sometimes when we see the team out there, they just don't look. You know, I don't think at the end of the day you look at them and go, we got the best out of them, right? So I think that's going to be the big question there. With the that's pretty much the big variable, right, for England right now. Isn't necessarily do they have the squad, you know, do they have the players to compete? It's whether or not they're going to actually perform. We kind of see the same thing, you know, in other places, other teams I support. So yeah, but I think that's what it is there. I was glancing a little bit at the squad. I guess I might need to look at it again, but I think, did you have Jadon Sancho there?
Not in the starting lineup.
No, you didn't. No, okay. No. Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that the England squad does have is they're going to be able to attack well, and our team's going to be able to control that. I think that's going to be key. I think that's the key for me. I think right there is they're going to have to lean on their strengths, right? And the strengths to me are up top. If that puts enough pressure on other teams that they're worried more about that than they are about their offense that I think that'd be best for England right now, based on what I've seen. There's a lot of question marks, as you said, as you go back towards the goal from that midfield. So that's kind of how I feel it's gonna pan out. The more that we talk about I don't want to say his name, but the more you talk about the Kanes and the Grealishes and all of that, I think that's going to tell you kind of how the game's going, right? If we're talking about Maguire and we're talking about whoever's starting back there, whoever's going to be the right back in the game, then I think that's when things are going to be a little bit of a struggle for the team. So yeah.
Well said. So before I bring you in, you might want to pose some questions to Mark. Fantastic panel, Mike. I just want to bring you in, mate. With England with the England defense, I want to sort of concentrate on whether if they play a three at the back, who would you pick? Or if they go for a flat back four, who would be your personnel that you'd pick?
Okay, so for me, if it's a back three, I can see Kyle Walker coming into the three, to be honest, as a centre back. To play alongside probably Harry Maguire and John Stones in the other positions there for centre back. I think Harry Maguire is back in training. I'm not too sure whether Sunday is going to be too soon for him, but if it's too soon, then you've got to look at probably Tyrone Mings maybe. Because obviously Connor Cody's in the squad as well, but I think Tyrone Mings will probably get the nod for me at left centre back. And then if you look at a flat back four, really, I think you have to look at the right back. I think Reece James ahead of Trippier because he was fantastic this season at Chelsea. Yeah. Just look at that Champions League final, for example, the way he dealt with Man City. Yeah. And then if you look at the left-hand side, I think, probably Ben Chilwell over Luke Shaw, in my opinion, on that side. And then Harry Maguire and John Stones in the middle. And obviously with Tyrone Mings coming in for the first game, yeah.
Now, it's interesting because when me and Souls are trying to even remotely try and second guess what Southgate's going to do, which is not as impossible as our head coach in Mikel Arteta, but that's another conversation. I originally thought Chilwell would get the left back. No, I just felt he would. I thought Mings would play on the left of a three. I'm not saying it has to be a left foot to play on the left of a three, but it does help to give a bit more balance. But then you could argue if Maguire was fit, Maguire would play there. So it doesn't really make a difference. But I originally went for Mings to start, but I've kind of changed the tune and thought, you know what, maybe Cody will get in there more comfortable on the ball. But
I think Mings naturally plays on the left, and you have to keep people where they're comfortable. You know what I mean? Cody usually plays on the right side, I think, for Wolves. So even if they're left-footed or right-footed, you kind of want to keep them comfortable. I think it would be Mings. I kind of agree with that, like Mings, because he naturally would play there. Konsa would play on the right. You know what I mean? So to me, Mings, even though, and this thing about he has a mistake in him. All defenders have a mistake in him. I don't really understand that. I can't stand that. It's like he has a mistake in him. It's like everybody has a mistake in them. Like even Virgil van Dijk has a mistake in him. Like, you know what I mean?
So that's just you know what that is? That's just Twitter world and people getting too passionate and carried away because they saw Mings' performance in the warm-up games. Oh my god, he definitely can't play against Croatia. I'm like, like relax yourself, calm down. Like Southgate will probably. It wouldn't surprise me if Mings does start on Sunday. So for the England fans that might start crying, just relax. It's the first game. Just take your time. Sol's going to bring you in, bro. What do you want to throw at the fantastic panel?
Oh, I think I'll throw a slight question that I did pose earlier, but I think this would be quite a nice one to ask you. Who's your big player that's going to have a bad tournament?
Oh, dear.
Wow. That's a good question.
There's usually one.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyone can start. Literally, it could be an England player. It could be anyone at all. And I think it's good to get even the stateside because you're an outsider. Not saying you don't have a European following. You might follow a team, but it's good to get your perspective from an 100%. Outsider. So, Gary, go ahead. Like, who do you think? Unless someone's already got a name, then they can go first if they want.
It's a tricky one, that. Yeah, it's just a hard one.
Yeah,
I don't mind. I've not said it yet.
I'm just gonna throw one out there just because of what the future holds. Though I guess I'm gonna you're gonna either laugh, cry, or faint or whatever. But I'm thinking I'm tempted to say Ronaldo might have a, he
That's
might
my
have
pick.
he might have a bad
That's
bad
bold.
tournament. And
Yeah.
I gotta look at it. You look at the team, the way that they play. People are saying saying it now. There were whispers. When he comes out of the game, the team plays a little bit better, right? Because it's not. It's just it's an easy one to pick. I think when I think about it, because all the commentary says that the team plays. They have really good players, but they are. It seems like hell bent on, gearing the squad around Cristiano, and they don't really need to do that. I think if they played an even kill game, teams would be in trouble. But if they try to cater to one player, I think they're going to put themselves in some problems there, and he's not going to be able to do what he's done in the past. I mean, he's getting old, and they're saying this probably his last Euro, right? And maybe one or the second, or his penultimate European tournament that he's going to play in, right? So it might be over, might be over for him. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ronaldo. I know it's either easy or hard depending on how you think about it, but he might surprise him. But I think we'll see what happens when he comes in and out of the game, how the team performs, because that'll be that's what I'm going to go with.
It feels like he's out of form. Like that's what
It
it kind of
does,
feels
yeah.
like. It feels like he's out of form. It's pretty clear from what I've seen. Like he's still getting in good positions, but snatching at shots. That's not good. Going into a tournament, you want to see people being fresh. But Portugal is kind of like they're my favorites to win the tournament still. And the reason for that is because I think we're going to see the depth of that team and the quality of that team with or without Ronaldo. Because even without them, even if you take Ronaldo out, there still would be a favorite. It's very similar to France. You would take Benzema out, they're still pretty much favorites. So I think we'll see the depth. Diego Jota, Bernardo Silva, these players are going to step up. Bruno Fernandes. And
Diaz, loads.
They've got a ridiculous strength and depth with Portugal, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my pick was also that Ronaldo. I think he's going to have a substandard
stinker. He's probably score a hat trick in the next game. But no, that leads me on to my next question, really, to ask you guys.
Just coming back just to that one, just for a minute, with me as well. I think that Benzema. I think everyone's big in Benzema out for France, but I think if you look at Mbappe and Griezmann, I think if he has a bad tournament, it's not going to be the be all or end all. Like France can still go on and win the thing.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm about to become the most hated man on YouTube. I'm actually going to go with Bruno Fernandes because I actually haven't rated him. I actually don't rate him as highly as many people do. I think when the pressure's on, he crumbles.
He's not.
That's what I've seen a lot. And it's not about stat padding. It's not about, but it's just when he's needed to turn up, he hasn't. And I think that's going to be the situation in Portugal as well, especially. And I think their player to watch is going to be Diego Jota. I think he's the one who's going to set that team alight.
For sure.
I actually watched the Portugal game and actually covered them for one of the commentary channels that I do a little bit of stuff on in the pre-tournament friendly against Israel the other night. And I think, Bruno Fernandes, in that game, he looked pretty good. I thought he had a good sort of warm-up game, really. So
I think
that's
they
a
get
bold
further
statement.
into the tournament. Yeah, they get into further in the tournament, but when you have depth in your squad, it doesn't matter. Like he can be kind of peripheral and other players can step up. So he can still have a bad tournament. And like if you win, everything is like all forgotten. Like when Chelsea won the Champions League, everybody acted like they didn't see Werner was horrendous. Like, you know what I mean? So I can see Bruno having some maybe worse performances further into the tournament and being peripheral, but the squad, it's too good. It's too good.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just Bruno as well, he might have a really bad game, but he still probably put the penalty away if he gets a penalty. So.
Well, listen, people complain about, how can I put it nicely, gamesmanship in the Premier League. You ain't seen nothing yet in a major tournament. Believe me, there's some very, I'm not gonna swear on my. There's some footballers that are very street smart in gaining an advantage, which you will see over the coming games and weeks. I would say predominantly look at the game of Group of Death. Then you'll see a lot of that going on. That's what I would say. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to ask you one more. It's going to be a loaded question. 2 questions. Who's your dark horse to win the tournament, and how far do you think England will go? I'm going to kick off with Gary.
Okay. Okay. So the dark horse for me. Oof. Ooh. I think the dark horse. Okay, I want to go with Italy. I think they're a dark horse. They don't have all the biggest names out there. I think. What they might have. What they're going to have. I think is maybe a better continuity. I think they've got some older players that have seen and done this thing before. So I think that might surprise some teams. So we'll see how they do today, right? So
Turkey. Yeah.
So this will be a good test for them. Everybody's thinking it should be easy, but I think it'll be tough. But I think we'll see. See how they come through this, and that will be the start to the tournament. How far England will go?
Oh, good.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Well, I listened to some reports, and it doesn't seem like anybody thinks they're going to get past the 16. So they might make it out of the group, but then after that, I think, based on the way that the thing's set up, they're not going to make it further than that. They should be able to. I mean, I think I like to say, if we can see some individual brilliance from some of the players, and that will help them, I believe. If they can overcome, the coaching, if that's going to be one of the negatives going in, or the formation or something like that. But if they can have one of those players up top to just have a really good game where they're able to be touched and stuff like that, then But I kind of see them making it out of the group, but then falling at that point. So
I've seen some of the potential quarterfinal lineups if it goes to plan, and it's looking rather tasty. Mike, I'm gonna come to you. Same question, mate. Your dark horse for the tournament to win it, and also how England will do.
The first part of that question, I've gone Netherlands. I think they'll have a good tournament. If you look at them, they've got Nathan Aki at the back alongside the Ligt as well. Brian Gravenberch in midfield at Ajax is a fantastic young player. Frankie de Jong as well. Of course, they've got Wijnaldum, who's moved on to PSG now from Liverpool.
Good on Memphis.
Up front, they've got Luke de Jong and Daniel Malen as well, and Memphis Depay. So there's something about them, and I think they'll get to the latter stages. And as for England, I think England will get out of the group. I think we'll top the group, in my opinion, and then after that, we'll get probably a Portugal or somebody, and I see us probably going out at that stage. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, listen, there's some England fans. I see them settling there. Don't think they get out of the group. And this is England fans saying that. And Jess, we're going to come to you for the finale. Give us your forthright views in your dark horse and England's prospects.
Well, I would say Italy, but I have a hard time believing that they're dark horses when you actually look at their roster and you see the amount of depth and quality in that team. I think a dark horse has to be somebody that they can't have that level of quality. Like Italy is crazily stacked. So I'm actually going to go with a team that has quality, but is in a little bit of a funk. And people are thinking that they won't get out of the group or they'll come in third. I actually think Germany. And the reason why is because no pressure whatsoever. You bring Mueller back, you bring Mats Hummels back, and all of a sudden you have your experience back. And then you have players like Havertz that are coming into form. I think they'll come second in that group of death. So I've already kind of said, I think Portugal is going to go far. So I have feelings that the favorites are going to stumble just a little bit in France. They'll still make it through that group of death, but they'll come third. I know that's controversial. Clip me. It's fine. I think Germany will come second in that group D, and they'll get far in that tournament, and they may be their dark horse. They have enough, but they don't have pressure. And that's the best position to be in, right? So, and then with England.
Go on, Jess, say it. Go on.
Look, I just think Southgate is going to Southgate it up. Like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to go for it enough. Like, personally, I think they have so much offensive talent that they should just go for it. That being said, I think they can at least they're going to get out of the group for sure. Like, what are you guys saying? But let's say quarters, something like that.
I don't trust Southgate to get the lineup right because he's got so much attacking options. I think there'll be one or two games he gets it completely wrong.
I don't know. It's just so. I need to watch the first game and see how they're looking.
Yeah,
because it's hard to say right now. You know what I mean? They can come out and be good. I don't know. So I'll say quarters. you know. But watch Germany. No pressure, but still quality. Watch them. They're gonna pull something out of the hat. I have a feeling.
So we will definitely try and fit in a watch along with Germany watch along at some point, definitely.
Yeah.
But guys, I want to thank you for coming on. Much love and great support for my channel as always. Mike, where can the guys find you? Thank you for coming on, mate.
Oh, absolutely a pleasure, and thanks for inviting me on as well, Albert, and Silvers as well. So I've got a couple of different places that you can find me. The Gooner Elite is Gooner Elite on Twitter. It's just at Gooner Elite. And then I'm also doing some commentary stuff. We're absolutely rammed throughout the Euros as well, covering so many games. We're covering games every single day. And that's at Commentary Live 1. You'll be able to find that, the Commentary Hub. And my own personal one is at Stevenage Gooner as well. So I thought I'd give my own little personal one a plug as well. But thanks for having me on, guys. Of course you can. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, and I'm sure we'll hook up again soon, Albert, mate.
Absolutely. Mike, thanks very much. Pleasure. Gary, my supporter from day one. Thank you, mate. Where can the guys find you, my friend?
Yeah. So once again, you can find me on DWTT on YouTube, DWTT Arsenal in the search window, and I'll come up first. I believe I come up first still. Don't waste a tweet on Twitter. Typically, I do a show twice a week, Arsenal Fan Circle with Ray. I've been on here a couple times now, so I've enjoyed that. Mr. Ryan's Mr. Arsenal, I've been on there, and I guess you'll see me in the chats otherwise. So yeah.
Gary, thank you. And finally, Jess, sister from the States. Where can the guys find you, Jess?
Yeah, on Twitter at It's Jessino, and on YouTube at Shino's Arsenal. I will be trying to get into the Euros content. So my first watch along will be France versus Germany on the 15th on Tuesday. And then so I'll be doing a couple of watch alongs and previews with other fans from other teams. And then of course you can catch me with Arsenal content, transfer news, and all that type of stuff. Usually at 6 p.m. UK time as well as 10 p.m. UK time, including today, where we'll talk about whatever happens between Turkey and Italy and some of the newest transfer rumors for Arsenal.
Well said. And just to guys let you know, there's a very important thing happening on the 15th as well. It's my birthday.
Oh,
so any virtual birthday cakes in the chat and on Twitter, they'll be very much appreciated.
Yeah.
So no watch alongs on that day, unfortunately. But Gary, Jess stateside. I want to get you two on, especially because to take you away, get away from England and to get your outside views of how they're going to do and your thoughts about other teams being dangerous in the tournament. So thank you for coming on, and I'll speak to both of you very, very soon. Much love.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
So we're getting through thick and fast. We have two more people waiting in the wings. Let's get them in, man. Let's get my Arsenal brother in. Ross.
Hey, how you doing?
Not bad, bruv. Good to get you on, man. Good to see you, man. Forgot what you look like, man.
Mate, it's been a while, isn't it? Sorry, man. Sorry, I've been busy.
No, you've been a busy guy. I know, like, and I'm gonna get my other second guest in, representing Newcastle United. We've got John in the house, John Sinclair. What's happening, mate?
How are we doing, Kadai? You good? Just only just moved it, though.
No, that's good. Thanks for letting me know. But great to get you on, man. Sort of want to get away from club football for once. Just talk about the Euros. I've been looking forward to it for time. So, gonna come to you guys. I'm gonna start off with a question, and I kind of answered the question early in the stream, but I want to get you two guys' thoughts about Gareth Southgate, really more so. Is there if there's any positives you can give him for his time as England manager up until this point? Trying to sort of strip it back and not to concentrate too much on this squad for the tournament, but what have you made of his time with England? Let me give you a bit of context. I'll come to Ross first, actually. People talk about he's sort of kind of had a helping hand in terms of getting people to kind of, not I would say love England, but like England again. There's a bit more of the players and the media and sort of the England fans and that togetherness. Would you agree with that? He's brought a different culture, should I say, to the England setup. Would you agree with that? And what do you make of his time as England manager?
I don't think he's done as badly as some people make out. I think he's done okay. He's qualified us, which is all he can do. I think, we've had this with some Premier League managers, like, for example, when David Moyes was manager of Manchester United. If you're not a popular choice, you're always going to struggle, especially when a couple of results don't go your way. you know, it's like some managers, like we've seen with Arsenal, some get a lot more time than others, don't they? Let's just say that, right? So I think he's done okay. He's beaten who's in front of him, and he's qualified us. I think the squad he picked was pretty good. I don't think there's many that I would have changed. I think 4 right backs, obviously we're strong in the right back position, was a bit of a thing, but fine. But I think he's done okay. I don't think there's a lot more that he could have done. I would have maybe. I was disappointed not to see James Maddison from Leicester in there, but I also understand that he had some injury problems as well. So towards the end of the season, so I think we chatted before, Albert, and I like what he's trying to do. He's tried to make players earn their call up. You know what I mean?
100%.
He's not just putting names in there like, oh, you're back from fitness now, we'll pick you again. You know, and he's trying to do that, which I quite like. But I think he's done okay. He's just getting a bit of stick because he is Gareth Southgate and he's not, you know, Gareth Southgate, Eno, former Real Madrid manager, you know. So, you know, he's done what he can do, I think.
No, good shout, man. Yeah, John, sort of the same question to you. What do you sort of, from the outside view, what do you sort of make of Southgate and the things I mentioned in terms of improving the culture of the side? Because before you answer that, John, I don't know if you guys remember it. Probably about 2-3 years ago, I think it's on BT Sport. Rio Ferdinand and 2 of the England players are talking about, could they've won a tournament in the past? What was sort of stopping England winning the tournament in the past before? And he talks about club rivalry and not wanting to get one over on your teammates and all that sort of thing. And I just thought, hold on a minute. You know, there's not many players that get the chance to play for England firstly in a major tournament. Why would the club rivalry thing be an issue? I couldn't. For me, that didn't make sense to me. It actually quite annoyed me, if I'm being honest. I think Southgate sort of kind of stripped that back a little bit, where, like I said, he's brought the media and the fans sort of kind of closer to the players. Would you agree with that? And what do you make of his time as England manager, mate?
Listen, I mean, Gareth Southgate is not my manager, but what he's done, I agree with Roz. He's done okay with the players that he's got. I mean, he's trying to get young players coming in just to, for the future, sort of, for the next 7 or 8 years. Yeah, but the only thing I'm disappointed about is not picking James Ward-Prowse. I mean, he's the guy who can make things happen because he's had a good season Southampton. But he seems to keep picking players by reputations up on form. But at the end of the day, he's done a fantastic job in Russia. It's absolutely fantastic. But it seems to me he just loves his defenders all the time. You know what I mean? He's like a field at back, 5 at the back. You know, I want him to play a 4-3-3. We've got the players to do it. Grealish, got Mount, we got Sterling, got Kieran. We can play 4-3-3. But listen, at the end of the day, I mean, are we going to win the tournament? Probably not. But listen, I think we can go a long way for the players that we've got. It all depends on our defense, because I don't think our defense is our strongest point. I mean, Tyrone Mings, I'm not sure about him. I'm not a fan of Tyrone Mings. He's just he's error prone, but we badly miss Harry Maguire sort of thing. You know, it all becomes fit. I don't think he'll play this game. He'll probably play against Scotland, but the players Southgate has picked, I mean, I would have been quite happy, but I would not pick Mings. I'll play James Ward-Prowse instead. Ben White, he's unproven in this level, and he's never played in this tournament to testify any, so gotta see how it goes. But yeah, I just hope that we just give a good account of ourselves and hopefully just give our best shot.
No, fair play. Good answers, guys. So, do you want to drop in any questions to Ross and Jonathan and John as well?
Yeah, I think we'll go with your sort of I'll go with your actual best player prediction and your top goal scorer prediction of the tournament. It could be the same player or it could be 2 different players. Ross, go ahead, Mo. Who do you think?
Are you talking about like every team in the tournament, right?
Yeah, full tournament.
Yeah,
wow.
Wait.
Hit me with it, right? Christ, you can't. I mean, everyone who knows me knows that I think Ronaldo's better than Messi. I generally do. I know there's obviously not much to choose between the two, but even at, what is he now, 35, 36?
Yeah.
Christ, I can't remember the last time I see the guy had a bad game. And And I think Portugal have got a really talented squad, actually, a very underrated squad. So I'd have to go sort of really both those questions. I have to answer Ronaldo, really. Yeah, I'm going to go for him for both, really. I think he'd probably be top scorer and player of the tournament.
You know, that actually shocks me because a lot of people think he's going to have a bad tournament for a big player. But that's quite interesting to see that someone thinks the opposite. And the same to you, John. Who do you think is going to be the top goal scorer and the best player of the tournament?
I'm gonna go for a long shot, you know.
Go on, mate.
I'm gonna say it. Romelu Lukaku from Belgium, and the team's gonna win it. For me, I hope it's Italy. And I know I love Italian football.
Yeah, you do. You do.
I love it. I think if you look at the Italian team, I think it's a canny team there. My only concern is that Chiellini and Panucci are both class players, fast experienced, but they're a bit slow on the edge now. They're both wrong side of 30. Donnarumma, what a keeper he is. Midfield's fantastic. Up front, my only concern, and I love the guys in Immobile. I mean, listen, for Lazio, he's been magnificent up front. 20 goals last season, 36 goals season before that, but he just hasn't got it in the international stage. And I think Belotti is a canny player, him, mind. And I do like Belotti as well, but he needs to move away from Torino in the summer if he's going to improve himself. Yeah, he's still young, but he needs to go to a bigger Italian club. And Torino, I think he's done his time there. But for me, Lukaku, top scorer. Hopefully, my heart says he's going to win it.
Now, John, you know, I want to quickly come back to you on that with Italy because I kind of said to Souls that they were kind of my dark horses for the tournament. I was saying to Souls before the stream, mate, that I think apparently, I don't know if it's true that Lorenzo Pellegrini, is he out of the tournament? Apparently he's injured.
Sorry?
Lorenzo Pellegrini. Apparently he's out of the tournament for Italy.
Yeah. Big blow, that really.
Yeah, big blow.
He's one of the better players for Roma this season. He makes things happen. He can play the 10 role, he can play in midfield, he can play wide. I mean, he's coming on leaps and bounds. Like he's and he's just a Roma captain as well. And I think he's a decent young player, and I think it'd be a big miss.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it's true because I think with Italy, touching on again before I sort of move on to the next thing, like I said before, they've got like a number of strikers that can, I would say, in tournament football could get you over the line, but I just think they haven't got sort of a main sort of like I would say like an Inzaghi type or a Christian Vieri type back in the day. That they haven't got that kind of, but they've got guys that can do the job. But like I said, I think they're my sort of dark horses to win it. So in terms of, would you say Belotti is the main man ahead of Immobile, or would you say they're both on the same sort of level?
I say you told me Immobile and Belotti. Did you say? Because I got hardly hearing. Well,
sorry.
I think out of the two players, I mean, Belotti's quite quick for a big lad. Immobile haven't got that pace. But he's not the quickest, but he knows his Zaccarello goalies have given a chance. He's got some cracking goals, so that's the year. But Belotti is quick, and I think a lot of people would have preferred Belotti up front rather than Immobile. And out of the two, I would just pick Belotti because I think he's got everything about him as well. He's powerful, he's quick, score goals. Immobile, I think they're both the same. But if I was a national squad, I just go Belotti.
No, good shout. Ross, I'm going to come to you, mate. I just want to sort of generally ask you. I'm going to ask you sort of about England. I'm going to get all the groups up on the screen. Firstly, do you think England will top their group? And who do you think out of the group of death, as they say, Group F of Hungary, Portugal, France, and Germany, who do you think's going to top that group?
I think England will top their group. I think obviously the Scotland game will be difficult just because it's England, Scotland. I think Croatia have got obviously a talented squad, but I think some of their players are starting to age quite a lot now. I think Modric and Rakitic are about 35-ish and stuff like that. So I do expect England to get out of that group. There's no reason why they shouldn't. The group of death.
Wow. Tough, man.
You can pick any one of those teams. I mean, France, obviously, we know are the favourites. Portugal, we've touched on, have got a talented squad. My dad has said to me ever since I was a little boy, never ever write off the Germans in tournament football. They
100%.
They have a way of turning up at tournaments, bang on form, players fit. It's just what they do, So, Christ, coin anyone. Yeah, I'd have to go for France because we know they're the favourites, but yeah, any one of them.
Yeah, Ross, I'm going to touch on what you said about Croatia, because it's strange because technically they've got some fantastic footballers and they've had fantastic footballers, and they're not a big country. People have to remember that. So they haven't got a massive pool to choose from, but the guys they do produce are incredible. I mean, like I said earlier in the stream, they've lost Rakitic to retirement and Mandzukic to retirement. That the goalkeeper Subasic, who's there for years, he's gone. But some of the younger boys have stepped up. Remember Nikola Vlasic, who's ex-Everton. He's at CSKA now. He's done well. You've got a new goalkeeper, Livakovic, who's doing okay. You've got obviously Orsic, who scored a hat-trick against Spurs in the Europa League. And you've got Bruno Petkovic, who's like an Olivier Giroud type kind of striker, gives them that physical presence away from just being like a technical side. So, you know what? I just hope when England do play Croatia on Sunday, that we don't sort of have a rerun of what happened in 2018. Because, John, I'm going to come to you, mate, sort of thing. One thing I've always sort of criticised England for, and I've seen a lot of England's from, since I remember the first World Cup, I remember seeing them in 1990, that England just don't, whoever the manager is, don't seem to keep the ball very well. And do you think that's one of the main reasons why they've not really won a major tournament since sort of 66 is because of their inability to keep the ball?
Yeah, I can hear parts of you, Albert, sort of thing. You're cracking up a little bit as well. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you heard it said about England, Croatia, sort of thing. I just couldn't hear the rest of you as well because you're cracking up as well.
Just in terms of England don't keep the ball very, very well. So do you think that's probably one of the things you're probably concerned of England on Sunday against Croatia?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, sort of thing. I mean, the most important thing is keeping the bar. We're not very good at it at all whatsoever, that sort of thing. Those touch is very important. But Croatia, look at the Croatia team. Listen, they got all that team, but they're a very good team. They got experience in the team, got Modric in there. You said Petkovic as well, I think you mentioned as well. And they got Brozovic as well. And they're like a good team, but most of them's over 30 years old. But if you can get them for the offset, we could cause them a lot of problems. But it's down to our attackers as well. And if you can start well and get them off on the front foot, I think we just about win this game. It's not going to be easy, though, but you have to be patient.
100%.
And I think it's going to be probably one goal in it, probably 2-1 to England. We are going to concede. I think 2-1, but also going back to Italy very quickly as well. There's two other players going to watch out for as well. I haven't mentioned, and that's Chiesa.
Yes.
And also, there's a young lad as well. Who I don't even know who heard of before. Was Raspadori, plays for Sassuolo. He's a young up and coming striker. He's going to make some noise, and he's quick. He plays for Sassuolo, and he's been linked to a couple of big clubs as well in Italy. So, yeah, I think he's going to make some noise as this kid.
Yeah, and of course, not forgetting Verratti, quality, absolutely quality. Yeah, different class, man. But yeah, guys, before I let you two go, firstly, thank you for coming on. But Ross, I know you got something, so I'm gonna come to you first, mate. How do you think England will do in the tournament? And if you could only pick one team to win this tournament, who's it going to be?
I think England will do okay. I think the problem with England that's always been for me personally is they lack confidence and they seem to bottle it a bit. What I would really like to see England do, which they always fail at in tournaments for me, is play like they do for their club teams. It's like they put an England shirt and they forget how to play. They're scared to take on players. They're scared to take on the man, and they need to stop that and just play how they do as they do for their clubs. And I think they'll do well. How far they can go, it's a tricky one, mate, because it depends who they meet. I guess, but technically they've got the players to win it. They have. We've got a great goal scorer, as you know. I know plays for Spurs, unfortunately, but
expert suit.
People can say what they want about Harry Kane, but he'd walk into any club side, or any of these teams, France, Germany, whatever. We've got great creators, Grealish, people like that. We've got wingers. We've got the players to hurt other teams. It's just we need a bit of luck. We need to, believe in ourselves, play how they do for the shirts, and see how far they can go, really. And then just hope VAR doesn't screw us over, or a crooked ref or something like that, But other than that, I think they just need to do that, and I think they've got the talent to go all the way. They really have. I think again, unfortunately, I'd have to pick France. Their strength and depth is just
insane.
You can make a squad out of the players they left out. It's that.
I saw the players didn't make it. It's mad.
And they would qualify. They would have qualified instead of one of the other teams. So yeah, I've got to go.
The under 21s could have done a good job in the Euros.
I know, right? People Meccano, Nate, and people like these. It's sick. It really is. So yeah, I'll go for France, mate.
No, good shout, John. Same question to you, mate. Who do you think who's your, if you had one team to pick, who do you think is going to win this tournament, mate?
One team's going to pick my heart said Italy, but I think for me personally, I think it's going to be France. So because France knows what all it takes in this competition. They won the World Cup, Euros as well. They got some cracking players there. They know the players, the player knows them. And they play cracking stuff. And when it comes to it, I think they know how to win the big games, the big tournaments. I think they'll be the team to stop. But as for England, for me, I hope we get to minimum quarterfinals minimum. But we have got to start well. One thing I will say, we haven't won an opening game in Euros ever.
Wow. What a stat. That's incredible. I knew England's record wasn't very good, but I didn't realize it was that bad. That's not great. That's not great at all. You're right. I remember Euro 96, they drew 1-1 with Switzerland. Oh, God. Euro 92, 0-0 with France. God, you're right, man. It's a dismal record.
You lost 2-1 the France in the first game, and you lost 3-2 against Portugal. It was 2 against Portugal back in 2000, and we messed up on that. And we need to fix up. We need to make history and win in the first game. Win the first game, right? And then we could just say, you know what? We got to qualify for the next round, you know. Put Croatia under pressure. We've got to get out with 3 points on the board. Do that, well away. And next up's gone.
No, John, that's a great shout. I was aware the record was bad, but I didn't realize it was that bad. But now, John, I want to thank you for coming on, mate. Big up to you. Well done on getting past 700 subscribers on your channel, mate. I did notice that, so well done to you, mate. Well done. You put in the hard
Thanks
work, mate.
very much. Pretty much so. Thank you very much for having us on, and let's hope we get it on again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, John. John, thanks for coming on. Souls, anything you want to say to John?
I think you pretty much asked the questions I was going to ask. Like, obviously, we talked about the sort of best players, the top goal scorers, and how well England are going to do. I think it does pretty much sum it up. Actually, no, because you like your Italian. So, what's the score prediction for tonight? Obviously, lineups have been pretty much been released. So, what do you think? How that's going to go?
Big shout! Turkey are a good team, man, but very, very tough. But when you got Italy 27 games unbeaten, haven't been beaten for nearly 3 years under Mancini, and he plays 4-3-3, and attacking football, Mancini doesn't add up. You know what I mean? Mancini's like conservative, cautious as well. But
100%.
He's getting the players playing fantastic football. He allowed the players to do all he wants, gets it, and like I said, I mean, for that team, midfield's class. You got Guerrera, absolutely young player, young gun, and up front, like I said. So Mobley steps up, and hopefully, I think Italy will win by a goal to nil. It's going to be tight, but I say 1-0 Italy. It's going to be rusty, 1-0.
John, big shout. Thank you, mate. Thanks for coming, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.
You too, lads. Thanks for having us on.
Take care, mate. So, we're flying through. We've got our last guest before the kickoff. I'm going to bring in my brother from the Midlands, man. Chris.
How you doing?
Not bad, mate. Before I get to you, man, I'm going to bring in other 2 final guests as well. The Arsenal dream team are in the house waiting patiently in the background. Let's bring in Boxing Maestro channel. Joe. Joe, 2 sets. I'm going to come back to you, Joe. 2 sets. I'm going to get my boy in RJ. The forthright opinion, not just about Arsenal, but England as well. There he is. There's my guy.
Yeah. Next
Guys,
England manager. Go on.
Now, guys, thank you for waiting patiently. Thank you for coming on. This was a hard getting people's availability, but to get the guests I've got to come on today has been incredible. Great views and insight. Chris, I'm going to kick off with you first, mate. Obviously, Jack. It's only a matter of time before Jack Grealish actually decides to come to London. Just want to get that in there before to make you feel better.
Wait, I didn't know Chelsea were interested in him.
But Chris, it's great to get you on again, mate. Love speaking to you, man, about footy. So this is different this time. Obviously, we talk about normally Villa or Arsenal, but yes, England, man. The thing I want to ask you about England mainly is Gareth Southgate. We've kind of touched upon it with sort of other guests, but I want to get your view, obviously, in being an ex-Villa man as well. Do you think the criticism of Southgate, do you understand it, or do you feel it, or do you think it's a bit over the top when it comes to England?
I mean, I suppose you could look at it from, in all fairness, you look at qualification for 2018 World Cup, qualification for this tournament. We've kind of flown through it, which is good. We won the games pretty well, which we should have done. But then in all fairness, we've always done that, haven't we? Over the years, we go into a tournament and we've won every game. Won every game on the way there. I mean, we did all right in 2018, got to the semis, but realistically didn't really come up against anyone decent. I think it probably is harsh to some extent, but I think at the same time, he doesn't do himself any favours with some of the decisions he makes, some of the things he says as well. It's just odd when whether he says it tongue in cheek or not. He's kind of got one of those faces and one of those voices that you're not sure whether he's joking or not. Like last week when he picked 4 right backs, and then he made a joke saying, if I could, I'd have picked a fifth or sixth right back, and you're kind of thinking, I'm not sure, if he's serious or not. Certainly considering the way he's kind of been, in the decisions he makes, you think, just he makes things hard for himself, doesn't he? Really. So I don't know. I think sometimes a lot of football wise and results wise, he's done what he needs to do. But he just does make odd decisions here and there. Sometimes there are players who play really well that he just doesn't seem to be interested in. I mean, up until recently, Eric Dyer was in it all the time, even though he'd been really poor. And I know he's come out of the team now, but you kind of think it was one of them. It was like, how long is it going to take? And then, he picks the 4 right backs and he says, I see 4 good players. And I kind of think, okay, I get that. But when has Trent ever played in midfield? Maybe when he was a kid, rather than say we've got Trent who could play centre midfield, pick another centre midfielder. So I think it's just things like that, really. He's always been a bit of a, I don't want to say an oddball, but a bit of a dry, boring bloke, to be fair. You could kind of see that from his time at Aston Villa as well. He's there all the time as well, watching Villa. And obviously, eventually he kind of got round and picked Jack, which he couldn't not eventually. So it just is, it's a big tournament for him, I think, really, because he's going to be properly tested. You think really when we've come up against tough teams, obviously in the World Cup, you come up against Croatia, they beat us. Come up against Belgium twice, they beat us both times. Nations League, when we've come up against decent teams, I mean, Denmark beat us, Belgium beat us. So he's got to really show that all the managers before him, really, whenever you come up against an okay team, you beat them, and he's done that. But he's got to show that, especially with the attacking talent we've got, if we come up against a decent team, that he's got something else, and he's yet to show that really, has he?
Yeah. No, 100%. Great. No, great insight, Chris. Joel and Ryan, come to you. Sort of different question. England have had, I've mentioned it earlier in the stream, England have had a tradition of taking players that are injured or coming back from injury to a major tournament. Beckham 2002, Wayne Rooney 2006. We've done the same with Henderson and Harry Maguire. Do you give Southgate a bit of leeway only because normally with a squad you get to pick 23? He's had to pick 26. Or do you agree with Roy Keane's sort of assessment about Jordan Henderson about taking injured players? Where's your stance on that? Do you understand why he's done it with Maguire and Henderson, or are you kind of cutthroat and saying, you know what, don't be taking injured players? I'm going to kick off with Joel.
Thanks.
All right, mate.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Really, it's kind of, it's going to be one of those sort of personal opinions, isn't it? You know, he's obviously picked, you know, Henderson based on, you know, that he's got other sides to his game that he brings to it.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't have risked Henderson. I would have taken more of a chance with Maguire than I would have done Henderson.
Yeah.
And to be fair, instead of Henderson, I'd have brought in Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you've got to pick people who are playing. You know, he's had a great season, Ward-Prowse, and he offers you so much more. There's a lot of players that in that England team that can take that captain's role that Henderson kind of had, around surrounded by world-class players.
Yeah.
Where this is the England team, it's very different setup. I wouldn't have taken Henderson, in my opinion. But Maguire, I think, I don't know, he's one of those players, if he's fit, he's a great defender on his day, isn't he? And you can't match how good the fridge is. But yeah, so I would, in injured players, it's always a funny one because it depends on what the injury is going into the tournament as well. But I always think you want to go with the freshest, you know, the players that are ready to go. You don't want any niggles going into a tournament. In my opinion, you just don't want to take that risk.
No, it's well said. I agree. Like I said, it's been a systemic problem with England managers taking players that are half cooked. I know the importance of having leadership in your team and your squads, but not taking two of them. I don't agree with at all.
Risk one, like I say, you could risk one, but knowing you've got the sort of backup, you've got to have a reasoning behind why you're really taking the risk on that player. And Maguire has got that ability in defence that I don't think any other defender has. He's got that quality. Where Henderson, I think, just Ward-Prowse as the example, I think he's had a great season, and I think he deserved to be there, and he's fit. It just makes sense, really.
Yeah, just to kind of add to that as well, we're really thin in midfield, but our defensive options, you know, are quite good. So why take an injured midfielder when we could put, that's the position we actually need more players in?
Yeah.
You know, we've got especially in that sort of Henderson role, there's Declan Rice, there's there's Declan Rice, and I think Phillips is there as well, and that's it.
Yeah.
But if we are taking a Ward-Prowse, that's another option that can play in that role. So it does baffle me. I know he picked Ben White, who can play there, but he's not done that in a while. So why risk it in a major tournament, his first tournament, and he's barely had England caps? So why play him out of position in his first major tournament and put the pressure on a very young kid?
I think
Henderson hasn't played since February either, has he?
Yeah, exactly. Apart from the 45 minutes where he went and missed the penalty where he shouldn't have taken it. I can see how Southgate was not happy with that, man. You could see that.
When Alexander Arnold came out injured, that was the perfect time to slot in another midfielder. That was the perfect time. That was almost like a lesson learned. That was his chance to rebuild the bridge of I want 11 right backs in the team. He kind of had the opportunity there to slot in a centre midfielder that would have helped us, you know, and offers so much. The free kick ability Ward-Prowse, the leadership, everything's there. I'm an Arsenal fan, but what a player he is that can utilise in so many different ways. And Henderson's one-dimensional and injured.
Yeah, it's true. RJ, I'm going to bring you in. Sort of touch on that question a little bit, but I want to also ask you if it comes down to a decision out of either Foden or Grealish, because I don't think both of them will start. I don't personally think both of them will start on Sunday, but that's just because I think that Southgate won't do that. But who would you start? Who would you start out of those two in the starting 11? You only allowed one.
Got that question.
Why did I have to get that question? Honestly, that is so difficult.
Because you're the only man that can answer it.
Me and Souls had that when we tried to pick an England team for Sunday. It weren't easy, mate. Trust me.
I mean, God.
I mean, I would have both, Ram, but I think for Southgate,
Southgate will do that.
Yeah, no, he won't, because he's got a lot of faith in Rashford and Sterling. So that's why I think it'd be one or the other.
But that's
because he'll play Mason Mount.
Like, to see if it was Mount and Foden, that's a tough one as well, because I would have Grealish on the left and then Foden playing 10. You'd have to rotate between him and Mount, but even that, it's difficult. But if I really had to pick, Jesus Christ. Oh, it's so tough. Do you know what?
I know who I would pick, because I've already put it in the team anyway. Who I'd pick.
You have got to pick RJ. That's the thing. So get on with it.
I'm gonna, you know what? You know what? It doesn't matter who I pick, actually, because one could come off for the other. I'm gonna go Grealish.
Oh, what a way out!
I'd have Drake. I'd get Drake.
What a way out! It's true though. Foden can play multiple positions.
I'd pick Jack as well.
I have to pick Grealish. I mean, Grealish has been sensational, but I mean, look at Foden, man. He's probably one of the most best technically gifted players we've produced in God knows how long. And that's just my personal opinion I've ever seen, because I didn't watch England much or football much when Gaza was playing. I've heard many comparisons and that, so I can't really talk on that much. But yeah, that's what I'd do personally. Well, yeah, man.
No worries. So I'm going to bring you in, bro. Eddie, what do you want to post to my great panel combined of Arsenal and the Midlands?
Oh, I'll pose them a two-way question. So one thing I want to know is your sort of the most underperforming player of the tournament. So a player that you expect to do well but won't. And I also want to know who your sort of outsider best player. So someone that's not really known, or not appreciated, should I say, as much as maybe another player of the tournament. So someone that's going to make a name or make a stage for themselves in this tournament. And obviously we can just go in the order. So I can go with Chris first on that one.
I'm going for two strikers here. The first one, a guy that I love him to bits. He's had a great season, but for whatever reason, I can't see Harry Kane scoring many goals. I don't know what it is. I've just got a feeling. I had the same feeling in, I don't know when it was, 2010 maybe, and I was like, Wayne Rooney won't score a single goal.
Yeah.
And I was right. I just, unless we get a penalty, I'm just not sure. I don't know if it's because.
Oh, come on, Chris! If your feelings come true, you've got to feel the other way.
Maybe. But I just got a feeling that because he drops deep.
Yeah, he's got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And he's like, it worked for Spurs to an extent. You know, obviously he scored a lot of goals, players around him worked well. But I think with the players we've got with England, you know, whoever it be, Mount, Foden, Grealish, Rashford, Sterling, whoever, you know, I think him dropping deep takes away that space.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether Southgate says, you know, get beyond Kane, all that kind of stuff, Rashford and Sterling would come inside. And I just think it just based on the friendlies, really. And I think with those friendlies as well, I know there's a lot of players missing because of, you know, European Cup finals and stuff like that. But I just think we missed a trick in not playing some of the players who certainly will be playing, and really trying things out. And that seeing Kane drop deep, I kind of thought, I don't know, it just seems like he's not in the box when you want him to be, and he's kind of almost in the way. So Harry Kane, for whatever reason, I've got a bad feeling for Kane. Obviously, you know, I want him to bang him in. The other one is a guy who's playing tonight. Burak Yilmaz. He's had a good season for Lille.
Lille, yeah, good shot.
Great season. He's a player I've been a fan of for years because he's just one of them. He's just your typical kind of.
Yeah. He won their player of the year, I think, as well. Lille, he did.
Yeah, he was he was one of the, like, Lille made loads of money in the summer. Players selling players left, right, centre. He comes in on a free. He's had a great season. You know, they won the league against all odds, beating PSG. I think it's going to be tough up against Italy tonight for him. But I think he'll do well. So I think he's one that people won't really think about. I know he's had a great season, but still, I think because he plays for Turkey, he's not a household name. I think he'll have a decent season, score a few goals. So yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed. I mean, he'll probably go off injured tonight or something. Now I've said that, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So those are my two.
Good shout. Good shouts. RJ, come in, mate. Go on, bro.
You say person that will underperform. Is that what you said?
Is there like a biggish name, or like someone that's got a big name behind them, or you're expecting them to do well but won't do well, and then you're sort of your star of the Euro, should I say, someone that's not very well known that comes out and makes a name for themselves?
Okay, so the one that might be underperforming, this might shock people, but I don't think he's had a great as a season as he could have. It's Kevin De Bruyne. I'll be honest. I don't feel he's gonna do that well for some weird reason, but I think it's just because of the league season, he's been a bit up and down a bit.
Ryan, to add that quickly before you carry on, I don't actually think Roberto Martinez has actually utilised him that well for Belgium personally.
No, I don't think so.
No,
That's a good point.
No,
that's a very good point. I mean, all the fuss will be around Lukaku, but again, like you said, is he going to manage these players well? I don't know. I just think Kevin De Bruyne will probably be the one that just you'd expect him to pull off trees and that, but it's just not going to be as potent as he has been for Man City in the past compared to now. Person who I'm personally going to watch and I think will have a good tournament. Barella, is that how you say his name?
Good shout. Yeah, Italy. Yeah, good shout. Good shout.
For the season he's had at Inter Milan, I mean, I think this is the time where he's going to get a lot of teams' checkbooks. Something we need to sign. Do you know? I know we need to sign him, but a lot of other clubs are going to be.
It's all right. We'll get Marco Verratti from PSG.
Oh, that's a dream. I've been watching that guy for years. Come on,
brilliant. Yeah.
Good lord. But those are my two.
Good shouts. Good shouts. Joe, before I come to you, people, you should know what to do by now. And there you have it, people. Joel, hit me with Souls' question in terms of who's going to do well and who's not going to do well.
That didn't give me long enough, did it?
It's all right, mate. It's all right, bro. I'm trying to get you in before kickoff, mate. Go on, bro.
Mate, I've got a boxing show. What's all this about? Do you know what? The player to underperform, big player, Lewandowski.
Yeah, good shout.
I think we're used to seeing the guy on form. He's pretty much the guy that almost drags Poland along, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
But if he doesn't hit form, Poland don't do anything. And I think they had a shocker last time out, if I believe.
They weren't great.
It didn't happen at all for him. And I think if things don't work for him, things don't work for Poland. And I don't know. You just think, is he on the decline? You know, is the team behind him enough to sort of produce the goals? And I can't see him doing it. I was thinking Lukaku, but you think after the season he's had, he's going to be feeling it. And Belgium want to win something, don't they?
Joe, that's fair play. That's fair play because someone earlier said in the stream they think Lukaku might flop.
Yeah, I genuinely. He's had a great season. He seems to have found it in Milan, doesn't he? And I just think he's I don't know. Belgium are kind of becoming the Holland B team. They've got all the players, but they just can't seem to play together. And it's madness because on paper they should be caning everyone. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, I think Lewandowski, and I had to look up his name because I'm not very good with names.
Go on, man.
Is the Russian Is it Golovin?
Golovin, yeah, good player.
Oh.
Good shout.
Now,
Good shout.
I really rate him, and he seems to hit it in the tournaments, but then he never seems to move on to get to that. He's always been linked to a Premiership club, and then it goes really quiet. And I just think, I know he's at Monaco and stuff like that, but I just think he's going to have another good. He's going to have another good tournament. He's a quality player, and he just seems to deliver for him. You know, so.
No, guys, good shout. Guys, no, Joe, good shout, man. No, guys, I'm conscious of time because obviously we all want to watch Era 2020. So. But before I let you guys go, score prediction for England Croatia on Sunday, and I'll give you a plug for your channel. So I'm going to start off with RJ. What's the score? What are you going for, mate?
2-1 England.
Yes, it's a popular score, mate. Popular score.
2-1.
Good shout. Joe?
I think
tough.
I think I don't normally agree with RJ.
You do. You love me.
It's kind of well known. But yeah, I think 2-1's fair. I think it's going to be a 1-goal deficit, whatever happens. But I think 2-1. I think we'll probably leak a goal. He's going to go with Pickford, isn't he? And Pickford's going to have a clanger. But you know, yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think 2-1.
Good shout, Chris. Going to come to you, mate. What's your prediction, mate?
Going for 1-1. We don't tend to win the opening game of tournament.
John was saying. He said John's laid that out.
Croatia. I know they're an aging side. They've still got some decent players. 1-1, which wouldn't be a bad point. I know we'd love to start off with a bang, but 1-1. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
No.
Can I just say we never won a penalty shootout until Southgate came in, or we struggled with them. So
that's one thing to be credit to me. He has drilled that in through watching, speaking to American coaches. That's one thing he has honed us. I'll give Gareth Southgate credit for that because
I wonder why.
Attention to detail is important. It is. I think he tried to sort of change that culture of it's penalties again. He said no, we need to kind of come a bit more correct and have a bit more look into this a bit more deeper. So I'll give Southgate credit for that. But one thing before I get you guys to plug your channel, I just want to say to people in the chat, there's one player, there's one good player. I think he plays for Portugal. I think he's linked with Arsenal. Is it Ruben Neves? Sorry, I had to get that in. Sorry. Arsenal fans and Xhaka fans. Sorry, I had to get that. I'm sorry. I had to get that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, good player, man. But Chris, where can the guys find you on social media or whatever you're doing with Villa? And tell me what you're doing, mate. Where can people find you?
So I think I'm at Chris Ellis 250 on Twitter. At the moment, my channel was Villa Together. It's been shelved recently. I'm mainly on Rivalry Aside TV. I think they're at Rivalry Aside TV. Ran by Spurs fan and a Liverpool fan. We've also got a United fan, a West Ham fan, Leicester fan on the channel. So yeah, a lot of fans. So we kind of get together and do content. The usual stuff, watch alongs, get the rivals together as well. Good channel, well run. So yeah, have a look, like, subscribe.
Yes, people, football community, go and subscribe. Joe, wanna come to you doing amazing things on your boxing channel, mate. People go and subscribe to JG's Fight Talk. Joe, keep up the good work, mate. Amazing stuff. Have to shout you out for getting that interview with Joseph Parker. Different class, mate. Absolutely different class.
No, it took a lot of pestering.
Yeah,
we got there in the end. But no, honestly, yeah, I'm on Twitter at JG's Fight Talk and Instagram. Check me out. I'm with the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Go on, mate. Promote, mate. That's it.
Promote the merch.
Yeah. So, guys, any boxing fans out there, please go and subscribe to Joe's channel. Amazing work, Joe. Keep up the brilliant work you're doing, mate. You've put the yards in. I've seen that. Even if you don't think I'm watching, us guys, we're watching your back, man. We're proud of what you're doing. So well done, mate. And RJ, my bro.
Thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah, 100%, man. RJ, my bro's always always there from the beginning, mate. Plug your channel. Where can the guys find you?
Well, on Twitter, it's there at RJ Wills, and of course Ryan Williams AFC. I will be making content don't worry, the channel is not on hiatus because of the poor season we had. So don't worry. More rants, more raves, and we'll think about the transfer stuff. Don't worry. But yeah. Subscribe, guys.
Nah, people do that. Me and Souls will be back for the watch along for England Croatia. We'll be joined by RJ. I think you're coming on. I think hopefully we'll be right for that. And Ross, Guna TV Media will be there for that. So it's going to be hot. So get your fans, get your drinks ready. We're going to enjoy this game against Croatia. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Smash the like button. Subscribe to everybody's channels. All the guests that were on. Albert JTV, your host. Come and check out my YouTube channel. Guna Souls, my co-host. Guys, that is Albert Talks podcast over and out. # Euro 2020 review.